Education and Farmers Welfare Society, Punjab. I, Dr. Utkarsha Gaware, Vice President, Just Agriculture, the magazine, cordially welcomes you all to the ninth day of Agriculture 4.0, the future of farming technology and agripreneurship development, which is a 15 days international online training cum workshop program. This program is jointly organized by Sher Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology, Kashmir, Just Agriculture, Just Agriculture with Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society, Punjab. I'm very glad to announce that our co-partners for this program are more than 20. I must congratulate Team Just Agriculture for organizing such insightful training programs at regular intervals and for collaborating with such big universities within such a short span of time. So as our guest has arrived already, moving towards our session, I warmly welcome our first guest of today's session, Mr. Ravinder Grover, Program Lead, Harvest Plus. Before inviting Sir to deliver his lecture, let me briefly introduce Sir to inspire our participants. Mr. Ravinder is the Program Lead for Harvest Plus. With more than 15 years of experience as a practitioner and advisor for the leading industry and consulting firms in the agriculture and food domain. He had led many large-scale engagements with public, private, and development sectors in the area of supply chain optimization, route to market, policy advocacy, and digital transformation. So now, as I can see, many of the participants have joined. We would we will quickly start our session. So I would like to invite Mr. Ravinder Grover, sir, to take the virtual podium and start his lecture. Please, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Utkarsha. I think someone had to give me the rights to unmute. But thank you very much. Yeah. Am I audible and visible, by the way?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for inviting me to this very important event. I was there, I guess, last year as well. So it's always great to be amongst people and share findings around such an important topic. Let me quickly try to share my slides if it works for me. Okay, I think you have to give me the rights to share my slides.
Yes, sir. Just a minute. Yes, sir. Now you can just share your slides.
Please let me know if my slides are visible.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible, yet your slides are not visible. Yeah.
You can see my screen slides now?
Yes, sir. Building nutrition food system.
Okay. Thank you very much once again, Utkarsha, for inviting me to this event. And I'm assuming here all students who will be the audience today and all the young and bright minds in whose hand our future and fate lies. Let me start with a very interesting topic. I'm sure that over a period of these last few days, you have been hearing a lot about increasing agriculture production, productivity. But my question to you is, I think, don't you think we have done quite a lot since independence already on those fronts? We were a net importer of food, and now we are a net exporter of food. We have not only achieved self-sufficiency in food production, but also we are in the top 6 exporters for agriculture and allied sectors. So then what is the problem with our agriculture? If we have achieved so much, should we not be happy about what we have already done, with our interventions and achievements? Maybe as you all would agree that we have done enough on the production and productivity side, probably, and we should give a pat on our back. But then one component of agriculture and food system that we have been continuously ignoring is the nutritiousness of our food system. If you look at the last 5 decades, in all our efforts, while we were concentrating on increasing productivity and production, we have bred out nutrition from our agriculture crops. So our staples are less and less nutritious compared to what they used to be, let's say 5 decades back. So that's a problem. And why it is a problem? Because if you look at these stats, they'll scare you. In fact, while we are talking in this room, and these are slightly old stats, the situation now is even worse. I don't need to talk about India's rank in global hunger index. We all are aware about it, and it's a cause of worry. Nearly 50% of women in India are suffering from anemia, and nearly 40% of our children below the age of 5 are stunted. Now, this is happening because of a condition which we commonly call as hidden hunger, which means even after having adequate amount of food, their diets are lacking in essential micronutrients like zinc, iron, and vitamin A, and hence they are suffering from this situation called hidden hunger. Now, this is a huge problem, not only for India, across the world. If you look at the numbers, I mean, they are scary. And in fact, the recent report states that we have been understating these numbers. So while we are talking, the recent data is scary to an extent that while, let's say, around 100 odd people who are listening to this session here, out of that, nearly 50% are suffering from one or the other form of micronutrient malnutrition. And in case of women, this is even more scarier, with nearly 2 out of every 3 women suffering from micronutrient malnutrition. So this is a major cause of worry. So despite having adequate food, our food is not, adequately nutritious. And this is also an important problem from our sustainable development goal perspective, because our objective of achieving hidden hunger, good health and well-being, zero poverty, quality education, all of this is greatly affected by this situation. Okay, just quickly checking if we are back on the slides. Just give me a thumbs up or a nod. Krisha, are my slides visible still?
Yes, sir. Your slides are visible.
All right, thank you. So this and the even something to worry more about for in future. This is not a problem only for today. This is also a problem for tomorrow. In fact, with the increasing climate change, as the carbon dioxide level in our atmosphere increases, and the countries like those are in hotter part of the globe, like India, they'll be more severely hit by this particular crisis. Not only the yield of our key staples will drop, but more importantly, there will be around 3 to 17% drop in the iron, zinc, and protein level of our key staples. So you can understand the kind of devastation this can cause. I mean, so we have been really performing badly already on the nutrition front, and by 2050, when the global warming takes place and the 2-degree limit is breached, then all hell will break loose. So it's really important for us then to reverse this situation. And how do we do that? That's the most important question that all of us are trying to answer. Essentially, there are 4 different approaches to handle this nutrition crisis, so to say. The first one is the one that starts at the consumer or the producer level, is called dietary diversification. And it's not a new technique or new approach to any of us. You remember our grandfathers and forefathers have always been having enough diversity in their thali. They used to say that your thali should look like a rainbow, which means there should be enough of animal-based proteins, there should be enough of fruits and vegetables, millets in our diet and all that. But this is not always possible. There are many large segment of people who can't afford this sort of a dietary diversification, and then hence it becomes a problem for them. Even another approach that can be then adopted is industrial fortification, and you must be all aware about this. You must be seeing in your market now the milk that is fortified, edible oil that's fortified, and the most common of those we all have seen, iodized salt. That's again an example of industrial fortification. Now, again, the problem with this approach is sometimes the premium on the products is very high, and those products are not affordable to the lower and middle income groups. Also, sometimes getting access to those foods, generally these kind of foods are only available in urban areas, and getting access to those foods in rural areas is another challenge. So there's a limitation to this approach as well. Then there's another approach which we are well aware, particularly post-COVID. We have all seen doctors prescribing us vitamin D, zinc tablets as a preventive measure to build our immunity. This is called supplementation, where deficiencies could be cured by giving you the pills. And again, this approach suffers from a thing that there will be limited awareness. Not everyone knows about this medicine, and these are not available to everyone. Now, there's one more approach which we commonly called as biofortification, and that's the approach that we as an organization, work on. This focuses on naturally enhancing nutritiousness of our crops. So, like I said, our staples like wheat, rice, and maize, they used to have more nutrition. But when we were breeding them for higher productivity, we bred out those nutritious traits. It's very much possible to bring the nutrition back to these staples simply through conventional breeding, and which can, for example, in case of wheat, the zinc content in the wheat crop can be increased to as high as 30% by through conventional breeding, and there are varieties available which are higher in zinc. Likewise, in case of rice, also the zinc biofortification is possible. In case of pearl millet, we can increase the content of iron and these crops. Now, this was the idea around which the founder of Harvest Plus had been, was excited about around 20 years ago, when can we make plants to work for human nutrition? And with this whole concept of biofortification started. And since then, we have, progressed a lot. There is plenty of evidence now to show efficacy of the biofortified crops. There are more than 3 effectiveness trials, 16 randomized control efficacy trials, and bioavailability studies available. Nearly 65 million people, which include mostly farmers and smallholder farmers, are consuming biofortified foods. So this has already taken shape, and more people are adopting this. And why this approach is slightly better than the other approaches, there are a few reasons here. Again, just allow me a second. Sure. So, because this approach stands out because, one, it is based on the food crops which are already grown and eaten by resource poor smallholder farmers. So which means the food does not need to travel very far from the point of production. Then another thing is that this is totally based on scientific evidence, and also mostly food-based approaches are more effective in a way that our body has a mechanism called homeostasis, which allows us to, avoid having excess of these micronutrients and the problem that we face with other approaches sometimes. Also, this approach is more sustainable because once you develop the varieties, all we need to do is to do maintenance breeding, and these traits, in case of self-pollinated varieties, let's say wheat, they are carried forward to next generation also as well, going forward. And also last but not the least, that this is an approach which is very equitable in nature. You must have seen in rural areas whenever someone brings chicken or mutton or any animal-based protein to the house, women generally tend to get very less share of it. And it's not that the families don't want to give them more, but women are more sacrificing in nature, so they will eat last and the least. But in case of staples, generally like whether you're eating wheat ka roti or rice pulao or anything, that's equally distributed. So this is a more equitable approach as well from that perspective, from the gender perspective also. And this is a future ready approach in a way that when we breed for nutrition, we also most of the times are breeding for climate and building these pest resistance, drought resistance traits in these varieties. So they're better adapted to fight climate change going forward. A little bit about Harvest Plus, the organization that I represent. We work on, like I said, biofortified crops, and we are part of International Food Policy Research Institute. Our head office is at Washington, D.C., US, and in India, we operate from ICRISAT, Hyderabad, and we work on introduction, scale, and delivery of biofortified crops mainly. So, which means we work not only on the research and development, but also helping agri-entrepreneurs and governments to increase production of these crops. And lastly, also providing market linkages and access for biofortified crops. Like I said, this is an idea which has already taken shape. More than 400 varieties of more than 400 varieties of biofortified crops are already available in nearly 40 countries, and there are many more which are being developed. Just to give you a flavor of how these crops look, for example, in case of iron, we have iron pearl millet, which can provide up to 80% of the daily needs. We have iron beans, and iron beans are mostly there in Africa, and these can provide up to 80% of, again, the daily iron needs of the people. In case of zinc, we have zinc wheat. This is also available in India, Pakistan. Zinc rice available in India, again, Bangladesh, and also Indonesia. And maize, zinc maize, which can provide again up to 70% of daily zinc needs. We also have vitamin A crops. Most of these are available in Africa. We do very little amount of vitamin A crops in Asia. So like we have vitamin A sweet potato, cassava, and maize, which can provide up to 50% to 100% of the daily needs. Which means if people are consuming these crops in place of the regular varieties that we are eating, they will probably never need to take iron, zinc, or vitamin A supplements. So we can skip this slide. This otherwise talks about the possibilities of how these crops then can be institutionalized. And there are many ways of doing it. But our work primarily starts from research, which is done with the help of the CG centers like ICRISAT, CIMAT, and also the National Agriculture Research System. Like in India, ICR leads the efforts on development and development of biofortified varieties, and they have already done more than 31 varieties for the 3 crops alone, which is wheat, rice, and pearl millet. And then once the seeds are developed, the varieties are released, and then they are supplied to the farmers for growing. Once they grow the biofortified crops, Harvest Plus also supports through its partner in aggregation of that grain. And that's a very important step, because when you go to a consumer, he is ready to pay additional money for these biofortified crops, but they want to be sure that these are coming from a genuine source. So traceability is very important. For that reason, we work with many digital companies and implementing partners to ensure that there is an end-to-end traceability that's formed in case of biofortified crops. Of course, post-aggregation, it reaches to miller, where in case of atta, it is minimally processed. Wheat is minimally processed to make atta, cookies, and other products. Like, for example, in case of millets, it could be millet laddus, millet cookies, millet flakes, or other products where iron bajra can be used, and eventually it goes on to the retail shelf where consumers can buy it. There's also another route possible, which is through the government system. public distribution systems, and school feeding. Now there's an increasing attraction that's coming from government to include these biofortified crops in the school feeding programs and the public distribution system. So we are working with governments across the world to make that possible. So just to give you a flavor that while we do all these activities, women remain a very key focus for us, because they're not only a focus as farmers. So the FPOs or SHGs or self-help groups or farmer producers that we tend to work with are mostly women. Also, we tend to work with women as change agents. As you would have seen, the mothers are the key influencer, and most of the times they decide what the whole family will eat. So we have these very innovative concepts like smart mother contest, which runs in Nigeria. Also, we work with a lot of women entrepreneurs. For example, in Tanzania, we are working with AFCO Investment. And in case of Kenya, we are working with another organization which is run by a women entrepreneur who has developed a very tasty and very nutritious bean-based noodles. Like I said, because sometimes in case of most of the crops, like for anemia, women are the target group. So we ensure that all our marketing and campaigns are directed to benefit, to create awareness about these products for the women consumers as well. So these are some value created products. Those are available in different parts of the world. In Bangladesh, in fact, there's a very interesting story in Bangladesh. In northern Bangladesh, if you go, there's a division called Rangpur division. It's a very interesting division. If you go to some of their markets, 40% of the rice seed that's being sold today is biofortified rice. In fact, it has become so popular that the market itself is called now Zinc Bazaar. So if you happen to visit Bangladesh, you can really see the success of biofortification in the country. Not only this, this product is then being milled and packed, loosely packed, and sold to the communities there, and it's being very much liked by people there. Similarly, in India, we have many startups who have taken up new products. One of them is Agrozy, which is based out of Pune, and they're making very delicious pearl millet-based products, which are available now in the market. And I mentioned about Rose Matuku from Kenya, and you can see some of the products she has designed through biofortified crops. Then this is not only from a commercial perspective, but this is also making a difference in the communities. As you can see, many of the tribal communities have been really appreciative of the efforts that we have been doing. They have not only got a nutritious bajra for their consumption, but have also increased their income by nearly 8%. Their yields have increased by 8%, and their income in some cases have gone up as high as by 56%. Likewise, there's a variety of beans that is developed in Kenya. It's called Nyota bean, Nyota, which means it's a real shining star. And this variety is very popular among women in Kenya because it has a lesser cooking time, and which allows them to spend, let's say, half an hour more with their families. And it's an important parameter that is being taken into consideration while women are making these decisions. More importantly, the policy environment for biofortification is very, very favorable today. And as you can see that in Bangladesh, the Prime Minister has endorsed biofortification. Even in Tanzania, this biofortification is now part of the school feeding guidelines. In case of India, also, you must have seen last year, our Honorable Prime Minister has dedicated more than 30 varieties of biofortified crops to the nation. And there's a lot of work that has already happened in case of designing the food labeling guidelines and providing all sort of tools so that entrepreneurs, small or large, can venture into this and create social enterprises around biofortification. Now, like I said, the traceability was very important, and also it was very important for us to provide on-time correct advisory to the farmer. And technology has been a very big support for us. We have been working with a lot of partners and providing using a lot of technology tools, which include satellite imagery, dashboards, automatic weather stations, drones, to ensure that the proper practices are followed, and we are giving the output which can be traced back up to the farm level. So as you can see that we have developed dashboards which can help us visualize what is happening in our field. So let's say sitting here in Hyderabad, we can monitor actually our farms in UP and see whether how much has been the soil moisture percentage, if there are any upcoming pest attacks, or if there are any forecasts, and then through SMSs and other medium we can send advisory to the farmers. Now, to conclude, the most important part about biofortification is that it solves multiple problems for the globe, starting with gender equity. Like I mentioned, that these varieties are consumed by men and women alike and are a very good equalizer. So it's important for us to focus on agriculture-based approaches to combat malnutrition. The another important area is livelihood enhancement. No approach will be adopted, as you all know, by the farmers until unless there is some financial benefit. We can keep on saying it is more nutritious, but the farmer won't care about it until unless it increase to some higher income for them. Fortunately for biofortification, this is true. Like I said, there has been 8 to 10% increase in yield. Also, there has been increase in income for the farmers because consumers have more willingness to pay. Particularly after COVID, many of us want to pay for naturally nutritious foods. Then nutrition we already talked about. It's very important because this is a singular solution that can bring a change of very high scales, because in most of the cases, smallholder farmers, they keep 40 to 50% of the food they grow for their own consumption, and they are also the victims of malnutrition because they suffer the most. So if we are bringing an agriculture based approach which makes this food nutritious, they get health benefits from this. And lastly, the climate resilience, and this is very important because we are not only supposed to produce food for today, but we are supposed to produce in a sustainable way so that people can continue to grow that food for even the future generations. And so these varieties, because they are most of the times drought resistant and pest resistant, and they are better adapted to climate, they are a step in right direction from climate perspective as well. And how do we do it? There are two key pivots those are used. One is through technology, wherein we are using the whole bouquet of technologies which are available, starting from AI, machine learning, satellite imagery, to going all the way even to deploying techniques like XRF for nutrient testing, so that farmers or the entrepreneurs can know in real time that what is the nutrient content of these crops. So that's a very key pivot. And the second pivot that we are using is to by working with government and ensuring that there are right set of policies. For example, when we started, many companies wanted to get into promote biofortified food, but then their challenge was that there were no standards those were available. So we then worked with British Standard Institute and brought these standards as well, for which can enable trade of biofortified crops. So in nutshell, it is important for us to focus on not only on increasing productivity and production, but also need to focus on gender, livelihood, climate, and nutrition part of agriculture. Because without that, what we will be achieving will be only a lopsided success, and it will not be very sustainable. There are many approaches available, like dietary diversification, food fortification, industrial fortification, biofortification, and supplementation. Most of the times, these approaches are complementary. But in an environment like India or in a lower middle income countries like ours, any agriculture based approach will make more sense, because farmers are also the end beneficiaries most of the times. So the approaches like biofortification can play a huge role. We have already achieved some amount of success in India. Nearly 1 million farmers are already producing biofortified crops. And this number is only going to flourish. And we are expecting that by 2030, there'll be around 10 million farmers who will be producing biofortified crops, and nearly 40 crore people will be consuming biofortified crops. So the future is bright, but the challenge is there. There are many challenges from policy and technology perspective, and we need to collectively resolve those challenges so that we can see a India which is free from hidden hunger. And hopefully, if we do everything right, if not 100%, we should be able to achieve this dream to a larger extent by 2030. So I'll stop here. I don't know if I have exceeded my time, but I'm happy to take any questions from you.
Thank you, sir. We'll just take some questions with your permission. So the first question is, sir, what is the difference between genetically modified crops and biofortification crops?
Okay, so you must be hearing a lot of noise around GMO crops, and this is the first question that we hear. Biofortification can be achieved through three possible routes. The first possible route is what we are doing is through conventional breeding, and I always give this example. See, in certain families, you would have been seeing that all kids are taller height. In certain families, you will see that all kids are slightly duskier in nature. In one family, there will be all kids who are very handsome. So if you marry people within those families, eventually after a few generations, you will get kids which are tall, dark, and handsome. So, this is non-genetic way of achieving this through conventional breeding method. Now, another way of it is through biotechnology, which is we generally call as genetically modified or GMO, wherein we take out a particular gene, let's say a gene that's responsible for higher iron content, or a crop's ability to absorb more iron from the soil or more zinc from the soil, and then we put that gene into a particular variety and that develop that variety. So this is another way of doing it. Now, the challenge with this is many countries are not very happy with the GMO. They are not sure whether they should be adopting those crops. And we don't have adequate data, to support that, where there will be no side effects. So right now, all the crops developed by Harvest Plus are conventional breeding. There's also a third method which we promote is called agronomic biofortification. Look, this is also another way of increasing, let's say, nutrient content in the crops, that is through agriculture practices. As you would notice that there are certain practices which will retain better nutrient content in these crops. If we follow those practices, the nutrient content in the edible parts of the crops could be increased. For example, we have achieved a lot of success in case of wheat. If we just tweak the zinc spraying module in case of wheat crop, we can increase the zinc content in the wheat grain by up to 30 to 40%. This is called agronomic biofortification. Again, this is a practice-based approach. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. So the next question from Lingaraj Sajjan is food nutrition can be enriched by doing organic agriculture with precision farming?
Very good question. In fact, there's no silver bullet. We need to do many things together. I mean, say our problem have been as a country, we have been trying to, or as a, I'll say, as a planet, we have been trying to only focus on one problem. Like few years back, 50, 60 years back, we were worried whether there will be adequate food or not. So all our scientists, everyone started working on ensuring that increase the amount of food without really caring about whether are we doing any damage to the climate, are we over promoting fertilizers, are we kind of taking out the nutrition from our staples. Need is, like you said, to marry all these approaches. minimize, let's say, is there a way to minimize fertilizer usage to do it in a more sustainable way, which could be done, whether we call it organic, zero budget farming, natural farming, or whatever name we want to give it. But the idea is to use only as many resources as are needed rather than overdoing the thing. Then also using technology as a very good enabler, like you said, through precision agriculture, again, to minimize the fertilizer usage and also to maximize the output. So yes, this is very much doable and possible. And in fact, this is the ideal way, whether we should not be only focusing on single approach, but these approaches can be clubbed together the desired result.
Okay. We have a question from Sahib Singh. He's asking, we sow the wheat seed and just after 3 days sowing rainfall occurs, and now the germination is not proper. What should we do in this case?
Saib, I'm sorry, I'm not an agronomist, so I'll not be able to provide you guidance on this. I guess, the university that is organizing this webinar, I'm sure there'll be many scientists who can help you with it. But I say farming is a profession of hope. All of us sow the seed and then pray that the rain comes on time. But I'm sure, they can provide you whether a resowing is needed or if you can do anything to kind of bring that back. I'll not risk making a comment because this is not my area.
Yeah. And one more thing, sir, as you mentioned that many of the females are suffering from anemia. What message would you like to give to them?
I would like to give them a message that, like when you travel in a flight, the air hostesses will generally give you a very good message that before helping others, wear your mask. Help yourself before helping others. Women are like so sacrificing. They will never care about their health, but they need to understand that it's their responsibility to take care of their health so that they can take care of the family. So my request to them would be to continue to make good food choices and ensure that they eat healthy and they ensure that their families eat healthy. They can create a huge change just by being more aware about nutritious food. And I'm really happy. In fact, in India also, we see a lot of startups who have been started by mothers because they felt that their kids are suffering, and then they came up with these brilliant ideas. I think if we want to see a massive change, it has to be led by the women for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I really hope that everyone must have gained a lot of knowledge from your presentation and from your talk. The other question is, what is the criteria to select an ideal crop for biofortification?
Very good question. So, I would also suggest that if you want to learn more about biofortification, I know it was a short session. You can check our website, which is Harvest Plus. So go there and learn more about biofortification. There is a complete list of frequently asked questions. If you still have doubts, you can always reach out to me, find me on LinkedIn, post a question, and I'll be happy to reply to any of you. But just to give you a quick answer for your question that how do we decide on crops? So Harvest Plus uses a very elaborate criteria, and we have a tool called Biofortification Priority Index. So this index takes into consideration various factors like which are the key staples consumed in that particular country, what are the key deficiencies, what nutrients are available in this, and then based on all these factors, reach on decides the country crop metrics for any particular thing. So let's say if rice is an important crop for Bangladesh, and zinc is a key deficiency there, then we know that we have to be working on zinc rice systems there in Bangladesh. And likewise, in case of India, if wheat is a key staple crop, and this also another setup. It's a complex criteria. We also need to see that there should be enough variability available into that particular variety for that country. So, for example, for us to enhance any crop, there should be some plants or varieties available which has higher zinc level compared to the regular variety, so that we can breed them. So it's a complex criteria, but I will request you to check bioforti or Google biofortification priority index, and that will give you the whole list of, in case you want to dig deeper into how these crops and countries are selected.
Sir, there's a question from Nishan. He wants to ask that do biofortification plants need fertilizers, and is there any chances to cause diseases in plants? Is it same as traditional plantation or any kind of modified environment to be given to the plants?
Very good question. So, the best part about biofortification is the least disruptive approach. Farmers don't need to do anything different than what they have been doing. So let's say whatever practices they follow for wheat, they follow for the biofortified wheat as well. So how it works is that, it's not that zinc is not available in the soil. When we apply zinc, most of it gets fixed in the soil, like as zinc phosphate and other unusable forms and all that. So generally the crops that we are doing is they have a better ability to absorb zinc from the soil. So there are absolutely no change in agronomic practices, no additional fertilizer needed to achieve these results. And that's the best part, because that ensures that the farmer's cost of cultivation does not get affected. Because the cost of cultivation is same and sometimes less, because these varieties are also pest resistant. So, they spend sometimes less on pesticides, and their yield increases, and also the price realization increases, because like I said, generally in our observations, there's around 18 to 35% willingness to pay for consumers, means they are ready to pay higher premium if they know that these crops are biofortified.
Yeah. So that's a question. Some crops are not tasty, but they are healthy. So can we improve the taste of any crop through biofortification?
Yeah, that's a good question. While when we do these crops, our primary focus remains on improving the nutrition, but we are also mindful. See, eventually, no matter, and we have seen it from our childhood, our mothers have been telling us always to eat something healthy, but we always like to eat something tasty, right? So we will never adopt anything just because it's nutritious. If that would have been the case, then Horlicks would have been a highest selling product, not the Coke. So it's very easy to sell Coke and a packet of chips in India, but we try to sell something nutritious, you have to have, people will simply not accept it. So when we are developing these varieties, we focus on retaining or enhancing the hedonistic factors as well. Like in case of wheat, the chapati making ability, ensuring that the chapatis are softer. They have all the necessary traits. But what you rightly said, that even the route to good health will go through the good taste only. If we can't make the products tastier, people are not going to accept it just because they are healthy.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. It was really very good session. One last question is there. How we can get all the 9 essential amino acids in low budget and get more proteins and less calories?
My best suggestion to everyone, I'll say, make your thali look like a rainbow. Eat all kinds and colors of foods, that as much as you can eat as much of local and raw food as much as you can. I guess that's my practical advice to everyone. That's the best way to keep yourself healthy.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was really very great session. Once again, from Team Just Agriculture, I would give you a thank you for giving your valuable time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this. It's always good, pleasure to interact with young learners. I wish you all the best for your future. Do well in your career. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now, moving towards our next session, I would like to welcome our next speaker, Sharon Idahosa. Before inviting Sharon ma'am, I would like to give a brief introduction of her. Sorry. Sharon ma'am is the founder and CEO of LifeX Agriculture Initiative, which she started in the year 2020 as a way to show support to rural farmers with little or no opportunity to thrive in the agricultural sector by carrying out trainings and workshops, skill acquisition to initiate sustainable agriculture and improved food security. She is the CEO of Sedona Media, an agricultural media company that focuses on agricultural content creation, specializing in agriculture articles, video production, marketing, events, and podcasts. She is an agriculturist, advocate, and an educationist, a visionary leader whose core values are transparency and excellence. A graduate of the prestigious Benson Idahosa University, her educational background in agriculture channeled her mindset to the pressing issues the agriculture sector is faced with, and she has taken a bold step to contribute and improve the agricultural sector. So now, without wasting much of our time, I would like to call Sharon ma'am to deliver her talk. Sharon ma'am, please take over the session.
Okay, good afternoon. I can barely see I'm not appearing on the screen, so I'm not sure I can see, I'm just seeing you on the screen, so maybe.
Ma'am, you are clearly visible. We can see you.
Okay, so I can see you, but I can't see myself on the screen. Is that how it's supposed to be?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
You
so
can just pin yourself.
My video is on, and I can't see myself on the screen, so that's what I'm asking. So my video is on.
There are three dots nearby side. You can just click on it and click on the pin option. You can pin yourself so that you can see yourself in.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me here today, and to all of you who took our time to register for this event, and of course for joining today. So I'm not going to be taking so much of your time. I'll try to make this as brief as possible, because I also have an engagement just right after now. So I just want to make it very quick. Okay, so my name is Sharon Idahosa, as you've already heard. And today I will be speaking on women-led agri-startups, and with emphasis on the challenges and opportunities in the agriculture space. But I would like to say this before I kick forward. If you're a woman in this room, I need you to know that you are a powerhouse. You are a force. So gone are those days where we take the back seat. It is time for us to actually dominate this sector. And I really hope that we all start believing it. So moving forward, let's talk about the role women play in the agriculture sector. And I will just quickly share my screen. Okay. Okay, let's just be sure that my screen is right here. Just a minute. Okay, so just making sure you are seeing my screen right now. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So okay, so these are our learning areas, and we'll be talking about the role women play in the agricultural sector. And we will also be looking at the challenges women founders face in the agriculture sector, as well as the opportunities for women in this space as well. But we're also going to be combining both agriculture and from the business perspective as well, considering you're running a business. Okay. So here we are seeing the role women play in the agricultural sector. And we're also looking at some of the facts to consider. And what we have here, we see that women comprise of 43% of the agricultural labor force globally. And I hope I'm clear, I'm audible, and you can see me.
Yeah, ma'am, you are audible, but your PPT is not visible.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So let's see this. So can you see my screen now?
Your screen is visible, but we can't see your PPT.
You can see my slide?
No, ma'am.
Oh, that's I can see it's playing here, so I don't know why that's happening. Okay, so just give me a minute. Let's see.
By that time, you can just share your PPT
Can you
to
see
me.
it now? Can you see it now?
Yeah, yes, visible.
Okay. Can you still see me on the screen? So let me know as well.
Yeah, we can see you too.
Okay, so let's get it done and done with. Okay, so we are looking at the role women play in the agricultural sector, and some of the facts that we would like to
Sorry to
consider.
interrupt you, ma'am. Can you please put it on slideshow mode so that it can be visible properly? The PPT in the slideshow mode. Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So we say that these are some of the facts that you can consider. Women comprise of 43% of the agricultural labor force globally. And in developing countries, you see 20% in Latin America to 50% in Eastern Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. Women are also responsible for 60% to 80% of food production in developing countries. And I want to believe that this is correct. Also see that in India, agriculture employs about 80% of rural women. Now, this is something that is very crucial. This is to show that women are major contributors to the agricultural space, but still we remain invisible, and that is a major concern for us. But I believe that we are moving past that stage anyway. So let's believe that right now. Okay, so I think my slides are not in order, but yeah, let's talk about the challenges women face in this domain. But I would like to talk about, I'm saying here access to funds, but let's talk about land ownership. So I believe that this is a major concern for women-owned businesses. We find it difficult to get access to land, and that is a major concern for us. I mean, take, for instance, in Nigeria, it's really a challenge to get access to land. They find it very more like a taboo. So what's a taboo? Actually, it's like an abomination or something to have access to land. So even if you're from a rich home and then you're married to a man who has so many pieces of land, it becomes very difficult for you to get access to the land. And even if your husband passes away or something, you see that so many relatives, they come to you to come pick up the land without giving you anything. So they believe that you're not supposed to cultivate on the farmland. And that is really a narrative that needs to change. And in the agriculture space, we do need these lands to really grow and run our businesses. So in terms of getting loans, getting funds from maybe banks, sometimes they require these lands as collateral, but we don't have access to it. So it becomes very difficult for us to grow our business, for us to scale our business. So this is something that women are currently facing. And this is where we talk about the access to funds. So raising capital is very difficult for female farmers, of which female founders, of which one I just mentioned is access to land. Because I believe that if we have access to land, we can easily acquire fundings from banks without so much stress. But we can't do that because we do not have access to cultivating on these farmlands. We do not have access to running farmlands. They believe that we are meant to be at home, we're meant to be in the kitchen. But you know what's funny? In some parts of Nigeria, it's usually women that are cultivating on farmlands, but of course they do not own the lands. So they are the ones doing so much. You see, most of the men, like there's this part of Nigeria that it's usually the women that goes to the farm, doing all of the farm work, and then the men just stay at home. I'm not trying to say something wrong about the men, but I'm just trying to put out really put out what women are doing out there. So the women are actually the ones going to the farms, bringing the food, and the men are just at home. So it's just really funny to see that we are actually facing challenges like that, even when we are doing so much. I tagged this the invisible farmer. So these are the challenges that we face. One of them is access to lands, and then access to funds. So raising capital is very difficult for women founders because most venture capitalists, they like to invest in startups that run by their own tribe. So let's say, for example, that I have here an Harvard-educated investor. We want to back up Harvard alumn's business. So the same way that VC firms with female partners are likely to invest in women-owned startups. So just like I mentioned here, to overcome this issue of funding, we need more female investors to support one another. So the key thing to growing our business as women, we have to be there to support ourselves. We do not need to be in competition with ourselves, because when we are working together, it's much easier for us to grow together. So I would really like to advise you as a businesswoman in the agriculture space or whatsoever space that you are in, to really try to support women around you. Because when you work together, you thrive together, and this sector can just easily boom, you know. So one other challenge that I have here is define social expectations. You know, sometimes when we walk into a room, we discover that you can just count the number of women that are seated in that room, and that has really been a concern for us. And you see that at this point, women are trying to adjust. Now, you do not need to adjust. You do not need to adjust. Just like I mentioned, you are a powerhouse, you are a force. So you don't have to adjust to the environment or something just because it is dominated by men or something. So at this point, women are still trying to adopt to that stereotypical male attitude, where you see them becoming competitive, you see them becoming aggressive, harsh or something. So like I mentioned, you do not have to be competitive with anybody. You're a queen. So competing, I find it very funny when a lot of women are trying to compete with men and all of that. You do not need to. I mean, you are a superwoman, so you competing with somebody is like degrading yourself, because you have all that you need to really thrive in the business sector. So you're trying to fix yourself in a way that will make you bossy, that will make you acceptable or something. I do not think that is the right approach to building your brand, but you need to remain true to yourself. You need to become the best version of yourself. You need to be yourself. You need to have confidence in yourself. You need to know that you can do all that you put your mind to do. You do not need to adjust yourself to any form. Just be yourself. Be the person that you are. Have your support systems, and then you can just see yourself thriving. So yeah, do not try to be like a man. You are a superwoman. You have all the capacity. You have the ability to become what you want to be. You have the capacity to be a successful business owner, businesswoman. So you do not need to adjust or conform to any sort of expectation or something. So let me see. So you also have the struggle to be taken seriously. That's really a struggle. That's really a struggle. So you see, at some point, some women CEOs, they find themselves in that male-dominated industry. And sometimes you see that the men, they do not want to acknowledge the fact that you are in that leadership position. They do not want to give you the respect that you deserve, that you need. I mean, you're in the position, you're in that leadership role, and then you find out that because it is filled with men, they're trying to look down on you. They're not trying to give you the respect that you deserve. So take a look at this. Alison Gotterman, CEO and president of Jelma, she faced down presumptions that she was living off her father's and grandfather's reputation. Now that's really challenging. So let me just put this out. I don't really say it. So I come from a background where the name Idahosa is actually a name that is known everywhere. So I find it I used to actually, at some point, I really stopped receiving help from my family members because I wanted to stand on my own. I wanted to do something on my own. I didn't want people to think that I am living off my family's name, or I am getting opportunities and thriving because of my family name. But the truth is that that's not really a good mindset. People can really say what they need to say. People will continue saying what they are saying, but you know who you are. You know that it is what you're doing that is really paying off. So you don't let things like this to get to you. Now, how did she deal with this? She learned to build a self-confidence. She learned to overcome such negative talks. For me, I literally avoided them. And when I think about it, I just wonder, why did I do that? Because I didn't want people thinking that I am getting benefits or whatever it is that I'm doing is because of my family members and all of that. I wanted to build something on my own without having anybody question me or think that I am getting some sort of preferential treatment or something. That's really something that we are looking at. So if you're a woman and you're in this position, you really need to work on your self-confidence. Do not let things like this to get to you, because you're really putting so much. You have the ability to multiply. So you don't think that because your father is rich or your mom is rich, or you have this what's it called, old money or something, so you're not actually doing the work. You're doing the work. So you have to overcome negative self-talks like this. People will definitely try to bring you down. People will definitely try to make you feel small, but do not let that actually happen. So one of the ways that she dealt with it again was to join variety of women entrepreneurs group. You know, it's very important that we align with people that shares the same goals with us. It's very important that we connect with ourselves. Just like I mentioned earlier, it's good that we support ourselves. And one of the ways we can do that is when we identify with women entrepreneurs group just like this, because it's very encouraging. It's very easy for us to thrive. We get to see more opportunities. We get to build on ourselves. We get to work on our confidence. It helps us to network and you know, meet the right people. So when you join women's groups like this, it's very easy for you to to grow. So groups like this gives opportunity for growth. So do not really take this lightly. Try to identify with groups that will be of benefit to you. So one other thing I listed here is unequal pay for equal workers. So at this point, we, not just even in the agriculture space, we still find it an issue in our workplaces, because I'm not just talking about founders now, I'm talking about, I mean, those that are also working in the agriculture sector as well. So we still find it very difficult to get the pay that we deserve. So at some point I was going over LinkedIn and I was seeing a woman complaining because she wanted a raise, but she was doing an amazing job, of course. She wanted a raise, but she couldn't get a raise because why? The boss said, you can't get a raise. Come on, your husband is making enough money for the both of you. Now that's not really something we want to hear. I mean, we are doing the job. So if this person is getting this amount of money, we should also be getting the same amount of money because we are in the same payroll. We are in the same line of work as well. So it's very important that we try to get a balance with all of this, because these are challenges that we face, whether in the agricultural sector or in other sectors as well. These are challenges that we face. Now, another one is lack of networks and mentors. So that's why I mentioned earlier that we should try as much as possible to connect with women's group. We should try to network and see groups that we can join. There's so many groups out there that we can join. I think there's something We Connect International. So there are many groups that we can join to build ourselves, to grow a strong network. Because when you do, if you need something at this point, you have a network that you can reach out to say, I need this. I want to be featured in this. I want to speak at this event. I want to exhibit my product and all of that. So when you have strong networks like this, it becomes very easy for you to go inside the different areas that you would like your business to really gain ground. So having a strong network is very important, and you can get all of this when you actually start getting involved with women's group, networking with people. It becomes very easy. And another thing you can look out for is mentors. I mean, these people can really help put you on track. I remember when I started growing myself and trying to contribute to the agriculture sector. Ooh, so I got on LinkedIn, and that was where my journey started. I started putting out content every day. I made it like my routine every day to be putting out content and letting people know that this is what I am passionate about. And that was when I got somebody that believed in me, that wanted to work with me. So I had this mentor who was always talking to me, who was always guiding me and helped me to start up. And that was really encouraging. But you know what's funny? It was actually a man. But all the same, it was really great to see that I had somebody that I could talk to, someone that could guide me. And even up to this point, I'm still very, very thankful to him for giving me the opportunity to really be in this sector, to really be myself like this. It can be very challenging, really working in this space and working as a woman can be very challenging, believe me. It can be very challenging, but we are trying to move past that, and that's why we try to have support systems. That's why we try to have a network of people that we can always rely on, that we can always talk to, ask for advice or something, because you can't do this on your own. You need people to actually work with you. You need people to be there for you, to really that really understands your vision, that really understands where you're trying to go. You need this support system that can also tell you that you're going the wrong way. or you're relaxing a bit, you're relaxing too much, so maybe you should step up or something. Now you need those kind of people as well. And I'm very, very happy that I have those people around me as well. So whenever it feels like I am getting all tired or I am relaxing something, I have somebody that can push me back up and say, hey, you have to go back to being this person. This was the vision. This was what you told me you wanted to do. So you really have to go back and start growing your business. Do not relent. I know it can be very difficult. I know it can be very stressful. Running a business is not an easy job, you know. It's not an easy job, but your consistency, where you take it one day at a time. Don't try to overcrowd your mind or something. Just take it one day at a time, and you'll see how you will be growing gradually and growing your business the way you expect it to be. So let me see this to be sure I'm not missing out something. So I put this here because I believe that there are some misconceptions about women in agriculture. So regardless of what we are doing in this sector, people still say a lot of things. They still say that women do not play a significant role in the agriculture space. How do we not play a significant role in the agriculture space? Imagine where you are contributing to 60 to 80% of the food that we eat, and yet you see here that women are not contributing to the agricultural space. Now, see, women's role are not usually acknowledged within the agricultural sector, and they are often targeted as insignificant. The farm work carried out by smallholder farmers, which mainly comprises of women, is seen as a chore. I don't know how they see this as a chore. I don't know who sees this as a chore, but this is us really contributing to the agricultural sector. I find it very hard to believe that with all of these contributions, we still remain invisible. We still remain invisible, and that's something that we're trying to change. Based on this, you can check out my podcast. I did a podcast on the invisible farmer with Adiza Yaro of East West Seed. So we talk about the invisible farmer, which is the role that women play, which is not seen. We all know that we contribute greatly to the agricultural sector, but yet people still have this misconception that they say we don't do anything and it is actually a chore. But you know what you're doing, which is actually not a chore. Okay, so I'm seeing two raised hands, so maybe after now, we can revisit the hands raising. So the other one is men do not benefit from gender-based programs. So a lot of people actually believe that there is a bias when it comes to gender-based programs in the agriculture sector, which is not true. The whole idea is that we're trying to bridge that gap and create inclusiveness and then increase the benefit, because if there's an inclusive value chain, there are better opportunities made available for both men and women. We complement each other. So let's not try to do this separately. When we are like this, we can do something awesome. So we have awesome ideas. What's it that they say about women again? Oh, I can't remember. But when we get involved with things like this, we're able to multiply. So men should see it as an advantage, because men should see it as an advantage because we have the capacity to make things grow. We have the capacity to make things just, skyrocket like that. So let's work as a team. We're not saying that we want to be equal. I don't like the idea of being equal. I am my own unique person. So I believe that women should see it from this perspective. We are unique, and our ideas, when brought to the table, can also be amazing as well. So let's try to work together. Let's try to create a sort of inclusiveness when it comes to the agriculture sector, because truth is, we need to work as a team. So if you're doing this and this one is doing that one, it might just reduce the speed at which this sector is meant to grow. So let's try to see it from this angle as well. So these are key areas to be addressed So we need to reach a point where gender roles in agriculture are equal. There are areas that needs to be addressed, such as education and training for women, access to markets and resources, and rural safety initiatives. So we need to get women involved in education. We need to train women. We really need to do all of these things. We need to invest in these things. These are very important because when women are equipped with the right knowledge, they make use of those informations that they have. Women have the ability to multiply. So imagine you train a woman for the duration, and then you equip her with the right resources that is needed to transform that skill, that business she's into. Just imagine what is going to happen. So she has the ability to multitask. She has the ability to multiply things. So providing training and education for women is something that is needed in this space that we are in. We need training, we need education for us to be able to transform the sector. So when we are equipped with the right knowledge, now we have so many technologies coming into the picture. So if we have all of these things in place for us, just imagine what can be done. So let's try as much as possible to get access to training, even if it is not made available to us. We should try to look for them as women. We should try, because we are doing this for ourselves, for our families, and for the world at large, because we know what we carry. So if you're able to invest in yourself, taking trainings, I mean, awesome trainings like this one, you're able to grow yourself. It's good when you grow as a person, because when you grow, you're able to put it back into what you're doing. So it's very key that you take advantage of educations like this, you take advantage of trainings, workshops that will be beneficial to you and also your business. Another thing is access to markets and resources. So I'm running out of time. Another thing is markets to access and resources. Now, we need access to markets. So one of my major projects, because I started a nonprofit during the pandemic, and the idea was to give access to markets. So we see so many productions happening, but then there isn't a good market. Sometimes you find it getting spoiled all of our productions. I'm not into that anyway. I'm into the communications, talking and all of that, podcasts, as you already know. So I can't really tell you so much about that. But basically, women should have access to markets, because that's very important for us. So imagine we do all of the farm work, and then we can't take it to the market. We don't have the right market that would want to make purchase of all of those things. So it's really a challenge for us. So we need a network where we can easily sell our product. But thank God for all of these technologies coming into the picture now. You can easily list your products on the online market, e-commerce platform, and get your product out there as soon as possible. So these are things that we should be looking at. So just running out. So let's look at the opportunities for women in this space. I'm not trying to put it in this space per se, but I believe that it all relates when we're talking about business, because agriculture is a business. So we have to see it as a business first. We can be able to apply our business knowledge to growing the agriculture sector. So I believe that the agriculture sector is, of course, filled with diverse opportunities, but how we tap into it matters a lot. Now, from the business angle, there's something we call the Blue Sea, and there's something called the Red Sea. Now, this can easily be explained as the saturated and unsaturated markets. So where the Red Sea is the saturated one, and the Blue Sea is the unsaturated one. For example, like I mentioned here, a digital agency can be classified as a saturated market, mainly because we find out that there are so many digital agencies now, so many, and that's a really saturated market. So if you're in that saturated market, you have to be doing something very unique to make others want to work with you. Just like in the agriculture space, if you're doing something in the agriculture space, just like you are now as a business owner. What is that thing that you're doing that would make people want to work with you? What differentiates you from those people? I'm giving an example here of agri-tech. There's so many e-commerce platforms. There's so many blockchain companies trying to make things easy for us. But you have to be sure that as you're doing that, there's something unique about you. There's something very unique about your business. And that's something you need to really put so much effort in. So if you're already in that kind of market, you need to start improvising and see what you can do to really ensure that you're standing out, because the most important thing is to stand out, not just doing the business and doing what everybody is doing. You have to stand out because you're very unique. So you have to stand out. Now, in the agricultural sector, there are some saturated areas, such as the architect sector, which is still important because we need to explore other great technology ideas that is available, of course, for the growth of this sector. But we also need to look out for its uniqueness. So that's just the highlight of this. When you're running your own business, make sure that you understand what is unique about your business, because that is what you're going to do. That's something you should be putting out. Because just like the digital agencies, there are so many of them, and they're all doing the same thing. So if you're going to such markets, make sure that you're doing something unique. And if you're already in that market, try to try to separate yourself from what every other person is already doing, because that can help you a lot. That can help you to grow your business. Just like you in the agricultural sector. So if you're already doing something on, let's say you're into catfish farming or something, and you just, normally people just take it to the market and just start selling. They're drying and just selling. What can you do differently? Now, you can leverage, let's say, packaging. I mean, you can decide to package your own fish in the best way possible. Look for an interesting way to make your own product very appealing. Don't look at how others are selling their own fish. Look at how you can make your own look very, very beautiful. You know, do your designs, do your branding, put your contact details, your name, everything that is very unique. And then do like your own package. It could be like a box. It could be in form of a sachet or something. You put your flyers on it. You can even be doing deliveries or something. So there are different ways you can decide to make your own business to stand out. So just little things can actually make you stand out. So if you're already in a market that is filled with people doing the same thing, just pick out something can be very, very small, something that can help you to stand out. And that's just an example that I've made. So even if you're in a saturated market, you need to find something you need to help your brand stand out. An example is, let's talk agriculture. So I know during the introduction, they sort of made a mistake, but so let's talk agriculture is actually the agricultural public relations and communications firm. So we already know that there are not so many public relations firms focusing on agriculture, and that alone is already an edge for us. So we already know that we do not have so many public relations firms focusing on agriculture. So we decided to take it. Now, this is not a saturated market. This is not. So that is an edge for us already. Another way we are trying to make it unique is the kind of services that we are offering. So now take a look at this. So we have a podcast, just like she mentioned. Now this podcast started like since 2021, January precisely, and we have been going strong. Excuse me. So we have a podcast, and our podcast is a platform to give agricultural business owners the opportunities to come speak about your brands, speak about what you're doing in the agricultural space. Now, that is what we do to help give agricultural businesses visibility. So if you're running an agriculture business, of course, you have colleagues, you have people working for you and all of that. So you can take advantage of the podcast to come talk about your business, to come talk about your brand. That way, you're putting your business in the spotlights. Now, that is a way to leverage the media for the growth of your business. So you can decide to come on the podcast, bring your team on the podcast, to talk about your focal areas and give your brand visibility, because that's very important when it comes to the agricultural sector. So many things are happening. People are doing amazing things, but it is not out there. So we are saying, come and use the podcast and talk about your business and put it out there. Now, that's something unique that we are doing as well, of which not so many are doing. Now, another thing we're looking at is documentary videos. We are very particular about storytelling. So we use documentary to tell stories. We also use animations to tell stories. So let's say you want to go on the field, you want to shoot oops, okay. So let me see. Hopefully I can still be heard. So can you hear me? Hopefully.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
so hopefully you can still hear me. And
Yes, ma'am.
so these are ways that we actually leverage. We actually put out some awesome ways to help agriculture businesses to grow. So we have our own unique way of doing that, and we're saying we're using our podcast, we're using documentary, we're using animations and events as well. So these are ways that we have seen to be unique. So we can always try out things like this. It doesn't have to be very, very big. It can be something very moderate, something small, but yet it can still help you to stand out. So these are just the little things that we are talking about. So I hope that this is great. So I've come to the end of my presentation, and if you have maybe just one question, I can just take one question, please, so I can hurry out. So
Okay,
thank
ma'am.
you
We'll
very
just take
much
a
once
single
again for
question.
the time, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here once again. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
So, ma'am, with your due permission, I'll take one question. Okay. Hello. Ma'am, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
I think there's some problem with ma'am.
Okay, hope I didn't disconnect. Oh, yes, I'm trying. I disconnected my speaker, so I'm just trying to connect back. Yes, yes. So I'm just trying to. Okay.
Okay, now am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, we just have to disconnect.
Have you worked? Hello? Yes. Hello.
Kasha, you are audible. Please ask her to
Yes, sir. I have
kindly
called
join
her
through
and
the headphones.
yeah, I have called her and I had asked her, but I think she cannot fix the problem.
Drop her WhatsApp if
Yeah.
possible.
Yes, sir. Just give me a minute.
I guess I'm done. I don't know what's going on with my system, so I think that's totally
Yeah,
fine.
now you are audible. Can you
Okay,
hear
so
us?
perfect. Yes, I can hear you now. Is it
Okay.
perfect?
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
Okay, so thank you very much, and I
Okay.
guess my time is up.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. We are already done. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. The last question, I'll just take a single question. Okay. I just want to know that how Let's Talk Agriculture is helping women and making a change.
Oh, well, so Let's Talk Agriculture is actually our public relations firm, but we have a non-profit where we work with women and we work with youths, but we are using Let's Talk Agriculture as a platform to help put out the message and activities of women in the agriculture space. So Let's Talk Agriculture is just our media domain. Do you understand? So we have LifeX Agriculture, which is a non-profit, where we help with trainings for smallholder farmers, capacity building, and all of that. But we are using Let's Talk Agriculture as our media platform to put out relevant information that will be beneficial to women in the agricultural space, to benefit youth in the agricultural space as well. So this is just a media platform for, as you know, we're focused on agriculture. So this is a way to put out our message as well. So yeah, this is our way of doing so. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for giving your valuable time. We really appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much once again. Okay.
Thank you so
Moving to our
much.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Moving towards our next session, I would like to call Ms. Priti ma'am to take over the next session. Ma'am, I hope you have joined the session. Priti ma'am, kindly unmute yourself and take over the session.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Actually, I could not unmute myself then. Now I think I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are completely audible.
Thank
Carry
you,
on.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am. Hope I'm audible to everyone. A very good evening, everyone. On the behalf of Sher Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology, Team Just Agriculture and Agro-Environmental Education and Farmers Welfare Society Punjab, I Preeti Words cordially welcome you all to the successful 9th day of Agriculture 4.0. The Future of Farming Technology and Agripreneurship Development, which is a 15 days international online training cum workshop program. I wholeheartedly welcome all of you. I hope our participants are enjoying and learning to the fullest. So coming to the session now, I would take the privilege to bring your attention to this and warmly welcome our chief guest and speaker of this session, Mr. Francisco L. Earlier Jr., who is the founder and CEO of Harvest Harmonics Corporation. He has an extensive history as a business professional with 32 years as a forensic accountant, business engineer, and strategic visionary. His current passion, Harvest Harmonics, is a biophysics and agricultural technology company benefiting farmers across the world. His new agricultural technology was 20 years in development and has now been released in its perfect stages and backed by empirical results, showing a significant increase in photosynthesis, causing faster plant growth with increased yields on nearly 400 farms worldwide since launching on January 1st, 2020, just prior to COVID. They are headquartered in Clearwater, Florida, in the United States, and have a corporate office in New Delhi also. Harvest Harmonics has a vision and strategy to become one of the biggest companies in the world, with no end insight to its potential growth and strength. It will also be the basis for increasing health conditions worldwide. We are extremely lucky to have an eminent personality like you, sir, today. So without any further delay, I welcome you, sir, and would like to request you to join the podium and address, sir. Welcome, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I greatly appreciate that, Ms. Vats. Good morning, everyone. I know in India it's evening, but good morning from Clearwater, Florida. I am going to start with a saying, okay? Because we're heading into a we are in an information age. We live in a world where information is something that people need immediately, you know, and the faster they have information, the more information they have, the better the decisions that they make. And for many, many years, probably thousands of years, somebody came out with the saying, survival of the fittest, you know, like the stronger you were, the better your survival, okay? Well, I'm going to make a little bit of a change to that. And we are in the information age. And right now it's survival of the smartest, okay? And what I mean by that is the individuals, the farmers, the scientists, the business entrepreneurs, the governments that are smart enough to see the future, okay? They are the ones that will benefit the most from the information age, because they could take this information and see into the future with it. And I'm inviting you all to get ready for the future of farming, because my company is changing the farming industry worldwide, not just in India, not just in Australia, England, United States, Mexico, Morocco, Pakistan, but we are already moving with this information technology into almost 40 countries. And we are hiring representatives all over the world to work with us, because this is a change in the entire environment, the entire agricultural environment. So I'm going to start showing you what we are doing, okay? And what I suggest, because your minds are going to really start to shift today. Today is going to be a major shift in logic, in intelligence. And so I'm asking you all to write this down. harvestharmonics.com. harvestharmonics.com. And if you send an email to service at harvestharmonics.com, I will have one of my staff send you all of the supporting science that I am presenting today, so that you can all see, the data behind what I'm going to present. Okay, so you all have the supporting science behind what I'm going to present. Plus, you should know that we are already working with scientists in India. Okay, Dr. Owais Bashir is one of our scientists. He should be on this presentation today. And he is also one of the scientists that is doing many studies in India. Plus, we have several other scientists throughout the entire country of India that have contacted us, that wanted to start working with us to start trialing and validating our technology, so that what I'm telling you today, you can see as true, 100% true. Now, I will continue, although I do see that there are 6 hands that are already up. So I'm not the moderator who's controlling this event, but it's good that you have your hands up. I will leave plenty of room towards the end to answer a lot of questions. Would everybody like that? Okay. I'm sure everyone would like that. So put up your hands, and the moderator will take note as to who's asking questions. And I will make sure to go through this presentation very quickly so that we have an extra 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the end, towards the end, so I can answer a lot of questions. I would prefer to answer questions. Is that okay, Ms. Watts?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, so let's get into the presentation. The first thing you need to know, okay, is that this technology has been in development for 30 years, and it has only been released 3 years ago. Okay, the next thing you need to know is that the technology is so advanced that it is a new science, a completely new science, and we will be releasing our first book that will explain the science, okay? Because understanding the science it's not complicated, but you will ask yourself, how was it possible that somebody created this or developed this or discovered this? But you will understand it after you read the first book. In the meantime, what we are going to show you are all the benefits, okay, and the results of using this technology. The next thing that you need to know is that this technology, okay, will be utilized by every farmer in the world, okay? So that's why we want you to understand where this company is going. It's super important that you know that. Every single farmer in the world, no matter how small they are or how large they are, if they are not using this technology, they will be left behind. The only example I can give you is Kodak, okay, was the #1 film company in the world. Kodak, 30 years ago, was the only company in the world that had 85, almost 90% of the market share of camera film. And Kodak actually developed the first digital pictures, but Kodak did not move into the digital space fast enough. And now all of the digital cameras came out and all the other companies took over the market, and Kodak completely lost their market share, okay? And they're no longer a household name. So it's the same thing here. You know, all the big companies, if they don't start moving into the energy space, which is moving out of the chemical space, okay, and moving into the energy space, then they are going to miss out on being able to service the farmers, because every farming operation in the world is going to become an energy farm, okay? They're not only are they going to become an energy farm, all of their produce will grow based on energy. No more chemicals, no more chemical additives. It will be based on energy, and that energy is completely natural, and that energy is based on programming. So I'm going to show you some stuff, some information. It's extremely interesting. And then I'm going to give you a very simple explanation, because the science is a little more complicated. All right. So here we go. Let me share my screen. Okay. So I'm going to move this over here. Excellent. Okay. I'm not going to read this PowerPoint to you. There's so much data here. Anyone who wants the PowerPoint so they can read it, again, send an email to service@harvestharmonics.com, okay? And just put in the subject line, just agriculture. If you put just agriculture in the subject line, we will know that you were a participant, and we will send you our theses from the universities that have tested us around the world. And we will send you this presentation so you could read all the information, and then you can ask more questions if you would like. Okay? So, welcome to the future of farming today. Harvest Harmonics is helping all the farmers around the world grow better quality crops at lower costs, okay, without using any chemicals and without harming the environment, okay? We are rejuvenating Earth's ecology and creating more organic life through advanced technology, and I will explain what that is. So this is usually done for a university. The basis of our technology is biophysical signals. These are quantum physics energy programs, okay? Basically, everything in life has a frequency signature, okay? Human beings, animals, flowers, fish, bugs, they all have their own unique signature, and they have many signatures, okay? And every one of those signatures is a unique frequency. What the scientist basically did, the inventor of this technology, is over the course of 30 years, he slowly but surely started to study this area and found out how to develop a machine and a programming language that would duplicate nature and then record it onto a micro transmitter and then transmit that information back into the environment so that the farmers could benefit from all that data and grow their farms naturally. What are biophysical signals and how are they applied to agriculture? So the first thing you need to know is that all physical structures, all animals, plants, human beings, we're made of cells, okay? Those cells are either healthy cells or they're unhealthy cells. So this left side frequency represents a healthy cell, okay? This, hold on. Oh, something is going on here. Hold on one second. I'm having a little technical difficulty. I don't know. Just give me 1 second. For some reason, my system froze, but I will fix that. Okay, good. Fixed it. All right, very good. So you have a healthy cell and then you have an unhealthy cell. Our technology makes the healthy cells healthier, much healthier, and takes the unhealthy cells and makes them healthier, okay? How does this apply to agriculture? Here is an example. This is a cornfield. That's a healthy cornfield. This is a cornfield that is an unhealthy cornfield, okay? Represented by the picture and represented by the frequency. Now, we apply our technology to both of these cornfields. And eventually, sometimes within weeks, definitely within months, you will see that both cornfields are super healthy. Now, this picture of the healthy cornfield was taken from Google. This picture of the unhealthy cornfield was taken from Google, okay? But these two pictures down here, these are our cornfields. These are real Kiminasi technology cornfields. And you can tell the difference in the color from this green on the bottom and this green on the top. We have a much healthier green, very vibrant. And you will see this with all of our plants, okay? They are super, super vibrant. Okay, moving on. This just tells a little bit more about the technology. You could read about that. Where is the technology installed? Anywhere that you have an irrigation system. So anywhere you have irrigation, you can use our technology. And we are working on a non-irrigation system, but it won't be ready until the end of 2023. All the farmers and scientists that work with us with the irrigation technology will be the first to receive the non-irrigation technology to test it. So if you want to receive the non-irrigation technology, the company policy is you must have first utilized the irrigation technology. Okay, moving on. What are the benefits? Main benefits are improving photosynthesis in plants and improving soil health. So the way I go through my presentation, which again, I'm not going to read this all, it's a lot of information, it would take 2 hours. I will explain the way it's laid out so anyone who receives it, they can read it on their own. We basically first show you and explain the science behind the technology in this particular area. Then we show you the benefits, and then we show you the results. Okay, so it's explain the science, show the benefits, show the results. Okay, and so greater growth and vigor, greater yields, and best quality. So here we go. We explain how we do it. We explain the science. We show the benefits, and then we show the results around the world. Okay, so the main point here is our yield minimum improvement anywhere around the world has been 20%. The maximum that we've seen under normal conditions is 150% increase in yield. All the other improvements you can read about. Okay, here are more of the results and more of the results. How do we improve soil? We explain it all here. Then we show the benefits, and then we show the results. So if you're familiar with the term CEC, which is cation exchange capacity, that is a soil measurement. Our average increase in cation exchange capacity has been 47 to 65% increase. That is miraculous. But let's move on. Now we talk about what we do for fertilizer, water, and agrochemical usage. Okay, so we reduce the need for fertilizer, we reduce the need for water, and we reduce and eliminate the need for agrochemicals. But now what we do is we explain how we reduce it here. Then we explain the benefits here. Then we explain the worldwide results here. Now we talk about cation exchange and fertilizer, and we explain that. This is just an advertisement. And this is when I explained earlier about, it's the survival of the fittest, right? But with our company and with our technology, it's the survival of the smartest. And the reason is because if the farmers using our technology are saving 50% water, and they're saving 50% fertilizer, and they're saving agrochemicals, okay? Well, if with all that savings, obviously they're going to become more profitable, and more profitable. And their farms are going to continue to improve. And the farmers who do not use this technology will eventually be less profitable, less quality fruits and vegetables and produce, and eventually they will have no more customers. So eventually they will go out of business, not because we want them to, it's because they did not get involved fast enough. Okay, so I implore you to please, okay, get in touch with our company, okay, order even a small pipe, order a small device, just so you can test it yourself, see with your own eyes, validate it with your own testing. We have standard protocols that you must do to have our 100% money back guarantee, because you must do measurements. If you don't measure what you're doing, how do you know it's working? Okay. If you are a farmer and you are part of this presentation, okay, in this day and age, every farmer is their own private scientist. You are the scientist of your farm. So you have to be very, very intelligent about measuring everything that you do so that you don't make any mistakes and you don't waste any money. Okay. And I'm telling you that as a forensic accountant. I'm an accountant, so I'm very conservative as far as spending money. And I'm a forensic accountant, which is I investigate to find out the truth in everything. So that being said, let's continue. How do we save water? Here we explain the science. Here we continue to explain the science. Okay. And then here we continue to explain the science of how we save water. Then we give you the benefits of the water, what that does for your farm, what that does financially, and what that does for the environment, for mankind. I think everybody here knows that 70% of all the worldwide water, think about this for a second, 70% of all the water in the entire world is used by agriculture. Imagine what we could do for mankind if we use this technology and cut the water usage down by 50%. That means 35% of the world's water would be saved, and 35% of the world's water would not be infected, okay, by anything that the farmers are putting in the soil. Eventually, they will stop with this technology, but it's going to be a transition. It's going to take the next 3 to 10 years. I'll give you the best example that I can think of. Elon Musk built Tesla, okay? But it took him 10 years to get to where he is right now. In the beginning, the infrastructure wasn't there. In the beginning, not everyone could afford the automobiles. But right now, electric cars, because of what he did, are almost in every country. So it took 10 years for people to get involved, okay? The same thing is going to happen here. But the farmers that get involved first are the ones that are going to get the most benefit because they will be ahead of the other farmers. And that's why we launched a 1,000 scientific trial program, okay, to have scientists all over the world test our technology and try and find something wrong with it. But so far, not one farmer or one scientist around the world can find anything wrong with our technology. So we're looking for someone to find something wrong with it, but we haven't found anyone yet, okay? Now, in regards to water savings, if you have electrostatic meters or humidity meters, those are the meters, okay, the sensors that are in your farm that report to your cell phone or report to your computer system and tell you what the humidity level is of the soil in the field. This is how we know we save 50% water, because all the farmers that have been using our technology that have these systems, they scientifically tell us, measure that we are saving them 50% or more water because their system is designed to save water by measuring it. Okay, so they're the ones who send us these reports and tell us how much water we're saving them. We didn't do these tests on our own. This information came from the scientists and this information came from the farmers. Moving forward, how do we reduce agrochemicals? We explain that here. Then we explain the benefits here. And then the results here. Now we get into the science studies. So these are only 7 or 8 studies that we've done around the world, but these are scientific or governmental studies. We have done a lot more studies and we have a lot more universities that we're working with now, but the results have not been received yet. We know that they're all good results, but we didn't get the final reports. In the meantime, in corn with the University of Santander, we had an 815% increase in production over control but this was a very unique study. This university did a study where they basically cut the water on both Kiminasi and control by 50%, and then they cut out all the fertilizer, 100%. So the control did not have any technology. They had no fertilizer and they had 50% water, which basically you are choking the control plants. On the other side, the scientific side, it was the same thing, no fertilizer, 50% water, but they had our technology. And our technology produced these two big corn ears, where the control only produced one of these small ears. And the difference between one of these and two of these is 815%. Now, this is not a normal study, but this was a university study. The university decided they wanted to see how powerful our technology is. We have this study in the thesis form, and anyone that wants to read all the details, again, send an email to service@harvestharmonics.com, and you will receive this PowerPoint. You will receive the 3 theses that show all the science that we've concluded around the world. Mind you, right now, we are working with another 12 universities. We're expecting more theses soon. And we are also in negotiations and starting trials with another 74. Let's move on. These are the results: 26.7% yield increase in watermelons with the National Agrarian University in Peru, 72% yield increase and greater growth of fodder corn in Ecuador with the Polytechnic School of Chimborazo. Greater vigor and 100% increase of yield of strawberries with the Polytechnic School of Chimborazo in Ecuador. The SPOCH, Polytechnic School of Chimborazo, did another study on forage to see how much more and how much better quality fodder we can grow for their cows, which you're gonna see something here. It's super interesting, but it's coming up. Then in Israel, the Ramat Negev Desert Research Center, they did a study to see if we could grow with high concentrated brackish water, high salt water. And we had a 20% yield increase over their best tomato production. Then we had a 62% increase in pastures growth with the Polytechnic School of Chimborazo with alfalfa, ryegrass, and bluegrass and white clover. Now, the cows that started eating the fodder, they started producing more milk and they started becoming healthier. And this was a comparison of different cow sections, different cow farms, but they all were eating grass fodder from that area. But one section of cows, 24 cows, compared to other sections of 24 cows, was receiving the grass grown with our technology, where the others were receiving the normal grass. And the first month, they started producing 50 liters of milk per day extra. The second month, they started producing 80 liters of milk extra. And the third month, they were producing 140 liters of milk extra per day. The farmers made so much more money with the production of grass because of the milk production. Then they tested the grass, and you will see all the improvement of the quality of the grass here. But you can read this all on your own because I will send this to everyone who wants it. Excuse me. Then we worked with a government agency in Colombia, National Training Service of Colombia. This is an agency of the government a branch of the government that trains young adults to become farmers. And they were doing a trial to see how our technology can help their students. And they did it on oil palm. And here you see the results. Then we did a test with the government arm of Ecuador. This is a government agency that monitors the growth of rice in Ecuador. And here we had a 14.3% yield increase. But the unique part about this is the government agency wanted to know if we could truly reduce the use of fertilizers. So on the control side, they used 100% fertilizer. And on our Kiminasi side, they used 0 fertilizer. So with no fertilizer compared to 100% fertilizer, we had a 14.29% increase in yield and better quality rice. This is a summary. Again, you can read all about that. This is how we operate with researchers, and this is how you can contact us, service@harvestharmonics.com. Dr. Owais Bashir from India, who is our scientific representative in India, conducting many trials for us in India. He has joined this event, and he's also on as part of the group. So anyone that contacts us, we will send you this information, but we will also connect you with Dr. Owais Bashir in case you have any questions or want to work with him directly. Okay. I am now going to stop sharing, and I'm going to explain something about the technology so that everyone could really get a good understanding how this works. Okay. Now, does everyone, I'm going to ask a question which I know most of you know the answer, but I'm sure everyone remembers 30 years ago, the first floppy disk. It was about 5 inches by 5 inches, and it was very flexible, and it went inside the computer. And that's how we transferred information from computer to computer using the floppy disk. I'm sure everybody remembers that. And then about 20 years ago, we came out with the new floppy disk, which was much smaller. It was like 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And the plastic was inside, and it was hard cover and protected the disk. And that was about 20 years ago. And then about 10 years ago, we were into, or maybe longer, we were into the CD-ROMs. Everybody remembers the CD-ROMs, right? And then from the CD-ROMs, in the last, 5 to 10 years, we went into the USB stick, right? And this is another way of transferring information through the use of a computer. Now the internet has become so fast that we don't use anything else. Most computers don't even have these drives. They all just transfer all data through the internet. Well, I'm going to introduce you to the technology of the future. It is the microtransmitter. This microtransmitter, okay, I'm going to bring it up close. You see that? See how thin that is? Okay. This microtransmitter is a very unique piece of metal made of very special alloys. But this microtransmitter can hold more data and more programming than all of the floppy disks and the CD-ROMs and the USB sticks put together. Okay. This microtransmitter is the disk of the future. This disk also does not require a computer. It can be programmed to transfer data into almost any type of medium. It is super unique. It is a new science. This disk is used right now to go onto an irrigation system. Okay, so imagine this is your irrigation pipe, right? Most irrigation pipes are made of plastic. All we do is have one section of the irrigation system anywhere in the irrigation line, and we plumb in a piece of metal, and we take the micro transmitter and we attach it to the bottom. And when water goes by, okay, it activates the micro transmitter, because this micro transmitter has an electrostatic electronic switch. The electromagnetic switch is activated by the electromagnetic static of water. When water travels, it creates an electromagnetic wave. That electromagnetic wave is a signature. Remember, I talked about signatures of frequencies. That frequency will turn on this transmitter. And when it does, all the data that's in this transmitter will transfer into the water as the water is passing by. And then the water will take all of that data and bring it to the farm. It will bring it to the soil. It will activate the microbes in the soil. It will activate the bacteria in the soil. It will instruct the plant to expand its root system. It will instruct the plant to increase and open up the pores, okay, the pores in the roots, so that it can more easily absorb nutrients and more easily absorb water. This is the way we save water and save nutrients, okay? It will instruct the plant to increase its metabolism more efficiently in many different ways, so that it can increase its production and create more sugar and then produce more. It will instruct the plant how to more efficiently use the energy of the sun, okay, and demand more sunlight and want more sunlight. Unlike plants in our environment, okay, unlike plants in our environment, they suffer from too much sun, but not our plants. Our plants demand more sun. They want more energy, okay? And this is all because of the more than, ready for this? More than 3,000 plus mini quantum physics programs that are on this micro transmitter that help the plant and its environment with anything that it's dealing with. So again, we will be releasing a book in the beginning of 2023 that will explain all of this. And it'll be the first book of a series of 10 books that will be released, okay? And the data will be extremely interesting, and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, I've explained, about the technology. I will give you all of the supporting science that will give you the confidence to want to get involved as soon as possible and know more about this, and even be a scientist on testing our technology or be a farmer using our technology. But considering we have about 17 minutes left, I would like to answer questions right now. So will the moderator please allow me to answer questions to this wonderful group?
Yes, sir. We have the participants are asking that how they can apply for jobs or internship in harvest hormone in your company.
Okay, so the question broke up. There was a little bit of a breakup, but I think the question was, how can we apply as a student to conduct scientific trials with Harvest Harmonics? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir.
Okay, send your request to service@harvestharmonics.com. In the subject line, put just agriculture. Just put in there that you are a student with the university, which university, and that you would like to conduct a thesis with us, okay? And it will be approved. I will tell you right now, because I'm looking to do 1,000 scientific trials around the world. And right now we only have about 90 universities that have contacted us and ready to get started or started. Some of them have already started. So we're looking for 1,000. So you can be part of the 1,000. Next question, please.
Sir, from this question only, what is the criteria, like on which criteria you are selecting the students for conducting their scientific trials at Harvest Harmonics?
Okay, so can you repeat the beginning of that question? You broke up again. Maybe, I don't know if it's good to put the questions in the chat, if you can, so I can read them. Would that be easier? If copy and paste the questions from, because I didn't hear that question.
Sir, you have not heard my question.
No, can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, sir. So the question was that what is the criteria on which you select the people with whom you are conducting the scientific trial at Harvest Harmonics?
I don't have any specific criteria. Okay, we don't have any specific criteria. We only want you to read the protocols on how to test the technology, which are very simple. Okay, the main protocol is to keep the plants, the control, and the cheminosity technology. If they're not going to be in pots, to keep them far away from each other, because these frequencies, this energy travels. So if they're too close together, then the trial would get contaminated. So we just want you to read the protocols. We would prefer the student to choose a plant that's very difficult. We would prefer the student or the scientist to choose a crop that is very difficult in their area. We do send out a 147 question questionnaire to find out all the different problems that they're having with that particular crop, okay? Because we want to show you that we can solve all of their problems, okay? This technology is so advanced that we want to know all the problems that the farmer is having so that we can measure and show that we can solve all of those problems. Now, we may not get rid of those problems immediately, but we will start showing you that the problems will start disappearing. And the yield will go up, the problems will go down, and eventually the farmers will have a completely natural farm where they're making a lot of money with an inexpensive product. Okay, so we will coordinate with the student and give them a lot of flexibility as to what they can test. So most students love working with us because we're a very easy company to work with. Okay. Next question, please. And thank you, by the way,
yes,
for the questions.
Thank you, sir. Sir, most of the participants, they just want to know about the technology which you are using. But as you have said that you will share the PPT with the participants and they can read from there. So I think it will be okay like that way. And we have shared your email address with the participants in the chat box also, so that they can contact you directly in case of any issue.
Yeah, let me just, I would put in the email address to contact us would be service at harvestharmonics.com. I don't know if I can type that in. Yes, I can.
Sir, I will type. Service
Okay, service at harvestharmonics.com. So I see more hands going up. I don't know if there's more unique questions that want to be answered. Oh, you're missing the, yeah, I'm going to type it. Service at harvestharmonics.com. Oh, for some reason it's oh, there it goes. Service at harvestharmonics.com. Okay. Thank you, Guantam, Miss Guantam. Okay. And
thank you, sir.
I see more hands going up. Are there any more unique questions? Oh, what will be cost of this technology per acre? Okay, that's a very good question. What exactly does Kiminasi do? Okay, so I'll answer what the Kiminasi does, even though I just explained it, but I'll give you a different explanation. Kiminasi takes over 3,000 mini programs, data, it's information technology, okay? And it puts this information into the water, into the soil, through the water, and it provides all of the programming, natural programming that was received, the data that was received from the environment, it puts it back into the environment, okay, so that the plant can benefit from its own data, but it doesn't take it from the existing location. This was 30 years of testing different environments and finding what was the common denominator of data that all plants needed in different scenarios to survive. It's a very unique technology that took 30 years to develop. Okay, next question.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, I think we are running out of time, so I request all the participants to send their questions through mail so that we can get them answered by you.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. We are running out of time.
We're running out of time. Okay, hold on one second. I just
Yeah.
see a question here. We are the KL University. We would like to work with your company. So any project, we will be very happy. Thank you very much. Please just send us a request at service@Harvest Harmonics. I am a hobby farmer in Atlanta. Is it possible for us to join in your testing technology? Yes, any farmer can absolutely join in testing, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what country. Just send us a request at service@harvestharmonics.com. Terms of application, how effectively can this tech be used in commercial hydroponics? So we have people that are testing us in hydroponics. As long as the hydroponics are soil-based hydroponics, then it should work, because our technology is based on standard farming. If it's not soil-based hydroponics, then we don't guarantee that it will work, okay? But if it's soil-based hydroponics, it should work. The other question is the cost. So here's the good thing. The cost is dependent upon the economics in the country, okay? It is a cost per acre right now in the United States. There's varying costs between commodity crops and regular crops, cash crops. But in other countries, we adjust the cost so that it is affordable by every single farmer. The purpose of this technology is to help farmers, okay? So we make sure that the cost per acre is adjusted in each country so that the farmers in that country can afford it, and they make really good money using the technology. The reason we invite all the scientists is so that the scientists can measure and validate all the financial benefits to the farmer, and then the scientists within the country can help us determine the proper cost. So what I will say is that it is very affordable in your country. I would not worry about the costs. And with all the money that you will save, it is more than affordable. Okay. I think this question is important. All crops. There is not one crop that we have found that the technology does not benefit. I'm actually thinking about putting out a challenge, you know, like a $10,000 worldwide challenge for someone to find a crop that our technology does not benefit. So I haven't done it yet. I'm looking forward to doing it. But literally, if the plant uses photosynthesis, it uses the sun, the technology will work as long as it's growing in soil. And yeah, there's a lot more questions. I understand we're running out of time.
No, I
Yes,
give you, sorry,
This-
I give you 5-10 minutes from my side. Not a problem. It's very interesting. Go ahead, please.
Really, Dr.
Okay,
Biskar,
sir.
Dr. Biskar, you're a gentleman. Thank you so much. I really want to
Welcome,
answer
welcome.
everybody's questions.
Yeah, sure.
So
Go
this
ahead.
is-
Go ahead.
This is the purpose of good people and good scientists around the world. They want to work together to help each other. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhaskar. I appreciate that. So, so what will be installing costs? Okay, you're going to love this. All right. The technology is simple to install. You can install it yourself. Okay, you do not need to have any type of plumbing degree or science degree to install the technology. I am going to show you something. You'll find it very funny. Look at my picture. Okay. So that is me. I did 120 installations myself. Okay. This installation that you're looking at, I did in North Florida, and it took me 30 minutes to do that installation. Okay. It is super simple. And so don't worry about the installation. We have videos that we send you where you learn how to install it yourself. Next. Is the technology only transmitted through irrigation water? Currently, it's only transmitted through irrigation water, but we have just finished a non-irrigation technology that will be transmitted without an irrigation system. I can't really tell you about that right now. It's still confidential, but it has been completed. The research has been completed. We are doing all the testing in Italy where the technology was developed. And I'm actually leaving for Italy on Monday because part of my meetings there is regarding that future technology. In early 2023, I'll be bringing that technology back to the United States and doing multiple testing with it, with farmers that have already used our irrigation technology. So there's Tech 6, which is the irrigation technology, and Tech 7, which is the non-irrigation technology. And by the end of 2023, once we've had sufficient enough validation with some universities and with farmers, we will release that technology by the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. So everybody's very hopeful. If you don't irrigate, don't worry about it. We will get to you very shortly. Okay. Is this technology only okay, I answered that question earlier. And I answered that one. Please, by these technologies, which crops are suitable? I've answered that one. Hi, sir. Myself, I'm currently studying master's in horticulture science in the University of Bologna. And my question is there an opportunity for post-graduation research? Yes, absolutely. And if you're in Bologna, I'm assuming you're talking about Bologna, Italy. The inventor is Swiss, but the company is in Italy, and we want more universities in Italy because, believe it or not, we only have a few universities in Italy that are doing trials right now. So we want more of them. So by all means, please send us an email and we will get that university in Italy going. All right. And absolutely, it would be phenomenal to have a master's degree thesis conducted. We are the KL University in Vijay. Oh, I'm sorry, I have difficulty pronouncing that word, but we would like to work with your company. So any project, we will be happy to join. Absolutely. Please send us an email and we will start a trial with you immediately. And so far, every university loves the way we operate our trials. It's so simple. Okay. The hobby farmer, I answered. Hydroponics, I answered. Okay, so far it looks like. Look at this. I've answered all of the questions so far. And it looks like with 3 minutes left, I don't have to take any of your time, Dr. Bhaskar. I totally appreciate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you,
Thank you, sir.
all the distinguished guests. And thank you, Just Agriculture, for this wonderful opportunity. This is the third time or the fourth time that I am speaking here. And I'm proud to say that every time that I speak, I have some more new good information to share. So it's a pleasure to be here, and everyone, God bless. And this is the one thing that I've learned from working with my Indian scientists, and I'd like to share that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
So participants, now taking the program to the next segment, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar. He's chairman and CEO of Est Global Incorporated. Before inviting sir to deliver his talk, I would like to introduce sir to our participants of Agriculture 4.0. So Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar is the chairman and CEO of Est Global Incorporated, which is an enterprise based in Boston, Cambridge MIT ecosystem, Cambridge Innovation Center, Cambridge, USA. And Dr. Sindhu has worked his career to global leadership in transforming the financial ecosystem through digital evolution, fintech revolution, and financial inclusion. A clear vision of the platform, leading from the front, creating a dedicated team of techies, international speakership, and acting as a model and the brand ambassador for the platform to form Dr. Sindhu's strength. Financial inclusion is key to sustenance and sustainability in any venture, and it is this vision that sets the streamlining and augmenting the socio-economic enterprise to enable the viability and profitability of to shareholders and stakeholders in the value chain. And Est Global Incorporated is an impact platform. So this vision is possible by unleashing emerging technologies potential, understanding countries' problems, investing in alliance and partners to complement the ecosystem. So he has forced the governmental relation which expand his ecosystem and gets involved in meaningful development agenda to work towards a new development and growth theory. So this is the initiative Dr. Sindhu's mission, and he is still exceptionally motivated to grow his business. He holds several positions in different global organizations and platforms like World Economic Forum, World Business Angel Investment Forum, Geoprofessional Business Association, and many more. He has received global awards and even been acknowledged as international impact leader by Swiss Impact Investing. So, sir, it is
Sir, you can start your session. I think she has lost the connection.
Yeah, so you'll have to give me the authority to share my presentation.
sorry, sorry, sir, I just lost my connection.
Okay, so just authorize me to share my presentation.
Sir, you are the
Yes,
co-host.
sir.
You can share.
Okay, fine, thanks. Okay, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are, to all the members in the audience. I'm thankful to Just Agriculture for again inviting me to speak on Agriculture 4.0 and economic transformation. I'm Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, as has been introduced by the host, and I'm the chairman of EST Group of Companies based at Cambridge Innovation Center, MIT Boston. Right now it is very cold here, a very bright day with 1 degree Celsius, and in the night we had minus. So anyways, coming back to agriculture, EST platform has 4 verticals in which we have neo-banking and digital banking, global wallet system. Then we have agri-tech, health tech, and the last one is edtech with digital media and blockchain-based newspaper for genuine news. So all these 4 verticals are working. in different countries. Right now, for neobanking, we have in India BranchX, which started around 2 years back. And right now we have about 4.2 million customer base, and we are targeting the migrant communities who are moving out from villages to urban areas. So creating banking facilities for them so that they can do banking and they can even transfer money and their families can get money from urban areas because they don't have any banking system. So creating that financial inclusion. The second is agritech. It is already launched in India, in Jharkhand area, in one of the tribal areas as a pilot project. We started with 250 farmers, and after 3 months, we have added another 250 farmers. And for the first time, we created a private market for them, and now creating entire packaging material and everything so that they can grow in the market. The third vertical is healthcare. Why I'm trying to explain, because you will see what is the whole logic of all these different verticals. So the third vertical is healthcare, in which we are trying to provide primary healthcare facilities to all people who don't have healthcare facilities or hospitals or anything. So it is, again, we are going to remote areas, say fringe areas where there is no hospital, no proper doctor. Hospital is there, it is just for namesake, things like that. So we
Sir,
are trying.
excuse me, sir. Sir, kindly put the presentation on slideshow mode so that it will be clearly visible to all.
Actually, this is just the introduction. So when I go to that, I will put it on there.
Okay, sir, sure.
This is what you want to know. So okay, I've done it. And the fourth vertical is our EdTech, in which we are creating a relationship with different universities and colleges and schools so that we can create digital knowledge empowerment in rural area. And because we talk of technology and all that, but if you don't have knowledge empowerment, if you don't spread knowledge about that technology, no one is going to accept your technology, because we are very cultural people and tradition driven people. So you have to break the taboo which comes with the new technology. So that's why we are trying to create all that digital knowledge empowerment in those areas. And with that, we are trying to create a real news to come out from those areas, which is the blockchain-based newspaper, so that with proof of consensus, we have the actual and genuine news and not fake news moving in the market. And we are also trying to create rural reporters so that rural area, which is traditionally closed for all their information system, can come out in the open. So it has 4 verticals, but all these verticals are also acting as the horizontals. So what is happening? We are trying to create a total mesh of ecosystem, because finance is embedded. So if you are doing any agri-tech or health tech or ed tech, you have to make payment. So our payment gateway can assist them. So like that. Again, those who are farmers, they can also be patients. Those who are students, they can also be patients. So healthcare will take care of that. So all these verticals are horizontals also, and we have tried to create a mesh of ecosystem. Now coming back to our agriculture 4.0 and economic transformation. So in this slide, I am trying to create my presentation, and the basic premise of my presentation is agriculture is not only an occupation, but also, most importantly, a tool to transform rural economy. Because there must be some basic purpose of our activity. So this is what I feel, that with agriculture 4.0, we are moving towards that. And rural economies have always been appendage to urban industrial economies. But now is the time, with technological help, we can break that shackle and rural economies can grow on their own as an independent entity, away from the industrial economy of urban industrial economy, and they can participate in the national economy. And that is what even Government of India has been talking of, creating 5 trillion economy. So $5 trillion economy you cannot create with while leaving farmers and agriculture behind on the backbench. So when what we see that agriculture 1.0 started with like when the communities, nomadic communities started settling, they started agricultural practices, and it was basically manual labor on the basis of which agriculture was being done. And it was very, very traditional. And even the initial industrial revolutions did not take care of that agriculture because they were busy with the basic urban ease of life rather than agriculture. But since the third industrial revolution, there was focus on agriculture also. And that is where different system of agriculture, like how to have like more different machines which can do the harvesting and which can do the ploughing, what should be the basis of seed or breeder seeds or foundation seeds, those type of concepts started developing in agriculture 1.0. The purpose was, again, population was expanding and there was need to cater to that expanding population. And same in agriculture 2.0, it basically starts from the end of the third industrial revolution, like from 1920 to 2010. In this, machine, fertilizers, better seeds help farmers produce more with less effort. And basically, it was agronomic management practices and new tools, which were the focus point for agriculture 2.0. But after 2010, there was a definite growth in the technological, say, upbringing of agriculture. And for the first time, I should say that the technology was more focused to the development of agriculture itself. And that is why what happened that it virtually merges also with Industry 4.0. And Industry 4.0 was basically trying to promote all high-tech sensors, cloud computing, specialized softwares, and the Internet of Things. And these things became very handy for farming. Like your previous lecture, that he was talking of those IoT devices and other things, that how they are going to create awareness about awareness in plants. So we are trying to teach, we are trying to now teach plants and products in the field to produce more so that we can consume more, because we are having more mouths to be fed. So that is what the whole logic of industry agriculture 3.0 and 4.0 now come down to. And we are trying to make all sorts of help to farmers for the efficient use of their land, water, fertilizer. But the most important thing that is coming out is the data management in this agriculture 3.0 and agriculture 4.0, because more and more farmers are coming there onboarding the new system. You are having more data, not only of human resources, but of agricultural produce, the climate conditions, the requirement of fertilizer. So you can broadly categorize all these data and then utilize those data for further betterment of agriculture. And this is what we find in agriculture 4.0, that they are basically, it is, I should say, the maturity model of agriculture 3.0. And that is what it has taken good root and it is expanding now. It was in the 2018 World Government Summit when they published a report about agriculture 4.0, the future of farming technology. In that, they mentioned all about this, and Oliver Wyman was the main protagonist of it, who gave that there were 4 main developments which are placing pressure on legacy agriculture model. And that is why there is intense activity to improve and to create a new level of agriculture, wherein agriculture will respond to human needs. And when human needs they have to respond to, that means they have to respond to the technology fully. And that is how we have different models of agriculture, like what products should we use, what facilities should be used, what instruments should be used, what gadgets should be used, what should be our mechanics of agriculture, that it can become a tool of capitalist economy. Why I'm using the term capitalist economy? Because agriculture has to grow and improve the lot of the farmers, not only feed people. So moving further, but what we see that problems in agriculture sector remain in India to a basic extent. I will hold my example to India basically, so that we are on same page. We are still battling with all these major issues of low income, employment and migration issues, supply chain, credit and finance, agrotech practices, agro inputs, food adulteration, and transparency in the agriculture business, because everything is intermediary based business. And how it is going to improve the whole agricultural sector, that is what we need to see. So the new frame of agriculture, from my viewpoint, should have a different foundation, in which the first one is, ecological or biological foundation of all farms. This is basically the agroecology, what we say. In this area, some of the main questions have to be tackled regarding the size, scale, diversity, and local adaptation of operations. Second is the economic parameter, which will govern our food system, so food chain, world, global supply chain management system. Even Rudolf Steiner calls it associative economy, while Otto Scharmer calls it nomenclature. His nomenclature is awareness-based collaboration, ABC. So all these different type of relationship that agriculture should have with interacting, or say, consumers. That is the focus area where we are now looking at, because agriculture is not only a rural issue, it is a commodity. It is a commodity for the market. It is a commodity which is going to change also climate, because we are talking of carbon neutral products. What are the carbon footprints? How do we reduce it? All these things are coming because we have to save our planet. So agriculture, saving planet, all these things are virtually part of 4.0. And it is very, very complicated and very expensive, because we have to look at so many dimensions and so many points to make them work out and make them synchronize with each other, so that we can have a very positive result. Now, can we redefine the concepts of value, quality, and food itself? You can see in financial industry, we are challenging even the concept of money. So it is a decentralized model which is coming out in every form of life. And we are trying to challenge the heritage value, heritage quality, or heritage foundation of our entire structure. So in politics, see, politics, social, society, finance, you have come out with your cryptocurrencies, CBDCs. So there's so many things which are changing the whole value model of our system and our working model also. And that is creating a new quality of life. And in agriculture, it is taking us towards different agricultural practices. We had never heard of seawater farming, but now we are talking of that also. We had never heard of 3D printing of food products. We are thinking, looking at that also. So those are further, I should say, advanced models that are being experimented, and maybe in coming days, they will have a very good recognition also. And the last part is your social and cultural environment, because agriculture has always been considered as the model for the rejects, that those who don't have an occupation, they cannot compete with anything. So they should retire, go back to villages and do farming. That was the basic concept. But now the whole concept is making an interest for agriculture, which can be greatly adopted and immediately adopted by younger generation, so that the value system of agriculture as an occupation, as a practice should change. And that is what we are looking at, social and cultural environment change. But can we change it? How much we can change it? All these are quantitative things which we'll have to measure as per different experiments in the system. Now, when we talk of agriculture 4.0 and the determinants of agriculture 4.0, what we find, like from our EST Agrex, which is our main agri-tech company, we find that a monetary system of the main variables in which farmers can intervene to improve their condition through computer or mobile device to supervise real-time evolution. So now here the catchphrase is mobile. All your technology has to be delivered by mobile system. It is not that you have to carry your whole computer and desktop to fields to create any system. Everything must be very, very easily accessible. Then only it can be easily adapted by people. Then we have also tried to create intelligent irrigation system, providing agriculture irrigation platform designed to water crops on time without losing their water cycle, whatever they require. The company's platform offers mobile intelligence for cultivation, advanced automatic irrigation. We have very strong chapter of hydrology and meteorology as resources to provide precision farming in advance, because we are forecasting the weather for the next year, and then what will be the resultant water table, and as per that we tell our farmers that this is going to be the situation next year, so be ready and accordingly plan your crop, which crop you should go ahead and which crop you should delay or wait for the correct season to go ahead with that. All these things are okay. These are the agri practices, that how and what those things are there. But the main problem is the locked status of agricultural areas. They don't have that direct access to competitive market which can create benefit for them. So that is why we have tried to create different new markets for the avenues of wealth creation, because until unless you sell your product, you cannot make money. And if you cannot make money, you cannot have your wealth creation. So, and simultaneously, because we see still with all our technology, majority of the farmers are dependent on monsoon and all. So we have to create additional occupation also, like dairy, poultry, fishery. Of course, we have been talking about all these things, but now is the time when we can adopt it, because people have got their eyes and ears open now. Earlier, those were bookish matter. But now those things, it is not that these things were not there earlier. It was there, but we never paid attention to it. With the climate change and save our Mother Earth, all these things and the technology that came in and disrupted the whole system, that has given a new dimension to all this. And that is why we are talking of agriculture as a agri-business, agri-capital. These are the terms which have been coined now. So creation of value-added facilities to agricultural products in cleaning, segregation of same size items, and packing, taking to different retailers. All these things have to be provided to the farmers so that they can see the real benefit of technology. Not only that, okay, there is a tractor or there is irrigation system. Okay, they have created, you have seen that farmers have been dumping their product on street or burning them because there was no marketing facility. So marketing facility is equally important for agriculture 4.0. that technology must create that highway through which agricultural producers can become really agri-capitals. Then upliftment of rural population by creation of a seamless and user-friendly interface for investment. When you create, say, savings in hands of people, that money must be rotated. It has to be churned. It cannot be made static, because static capital, static money will not earn any benefit for you. So there has to be some route for investments. These are the objectives as per Agriculture 4.0, which we have adopted in our agriculture system and platform, rather, not system, agriculture platforms. So creation of new agriculture wealth in the agriculture dominated countryside with investment in rural units. And for that investment, we have created e-Rural 19. I'll show you all those, how it works. And then, because the main emphasis is the creation of durable capital through the commodification of agriculture, investment platform for the target agricultural practices, and then the community shall lead to sustained and durable capital creation with the capital rotation. Now, when we have been talking about agriculture 4.0, we always talk of precision agriculture, and we also talked of how through our technology we are trying to create this precision agriculture. So in precision agriculture, a data-driven method for cultivating and managing crops on cultivable land in the most optimal manner with the help of technology. So it is, again, when you talk of precision agriculture and technology, that means technology is being used in the most expansive manner to have the most, I should say, optimum calculation of the agricultural practices and products. And it is based on the data that we collect. So it further creates a razor sharp situation for us, wherein we can plan each and everything in a very probable and possible manner. We have been talking of hydroponics, vertical farming. All these have become the poster boys of precision agriculture. So with such nuances made available to farmers, they can adopt a more structured approach to cultivation, and then they can have a certainty in the agriculture practices, and every aspect of cultivation, from planting to sowing and harvesting and marketing as well, goes to benefit the farmers. So in our EST system, we have connected farmers, we have connected the financial institution, we have connected the SMEs. So because in rural areas, you have rural artisans as well. So this technology must benefit all these segments to create a very comprehensive agri ecosystem. Now, as per that, we have created our own solution. Of course, it is very huge. So like different 12 metrics. So transparent, trusted, verifiable, and decentralized supply chain, direct access to market, distributed wealth mechanism, series of applications and branding and certification, practical implementations. Then data is, of course, not very accurate in India still. So we have to have more reliable data for working. So cleaning of data and purification of data, safety of data, so that it is not hacked and it is not contaminated. So that's why we talk of having these data put on blockchain, so that we can be sure of the genuineness of the data. Then rural employment opportunities by introducing newer economic practices and products, then monitoring and analyzing the records of different crops, guaranteeing the quality of products, so crop health card and all. Decentralized ledger provides transparent economic driven system which allow various insurance companies, banks, lending to establish rural credit score. Because all these things are important. Only with technology we are giving everything to farmers, to agriculture. But if it is not monitored and there is not a proper, I should say, we have called it management system, agri management system, in which we are creating the whole management information system for agricultural practices and agriculturists, how they are doing it, including marketing and all. Then empowering farmers to select and buy right seed, fertilizers, and other suppliers. All our seed and all the agri inputs are supplied through our own centers to all the onboarded farmers. So they don't have to go anywhere. And it is at a very reasonable rate that we are trying to create it. Of course, it is yet to be full blown up. We are just doing the pilot project. So the full blown up model will be available very soon in India. But in other countries like in Chile and Africa, we have launched it in a full bloom manner because local people are trying to have the full system at in one go. They don't want to go part. And then the last is conserve local farming knowledge and recreate the e-commerce within the farming community. So the whole economy revival pattern for rural economy as pronounced by EST Agrex depends on the interconnectivity of all these different factors: raw materials, machineries, middlemen, small scale industries, middlemen, consumer services. So existing fintech disruption and few fintech disruption. So this is how it is working. You can see everywhere middleman is being removed. But what is happening? We are removing human middlemen, but we are creating technical or technological middlemen there. So technological intermediaries are taking place of these human intermediaries because they are more reasonable and fair to the other community, to farmers who are part of the whole system. So we have created 4 levels and 4 pillars for our rural development and agricultural development. It is backed by composite banking as a unified, secure, sovereign banking solution. And it moves because we are talking of agriculture 4.0 and economic transformation, financial transformation. So first pillar is capital aggregation, how you will aggregate capital in rural area with those agricultural practices. Then how that capital utilization is going to be made in those areas. If you are utilizing capital, how it is again going to be replenished, and how marketplace is creating its interlinkages with all these activities, and how it is creating a different system of creation of wealth in those areas. So in capital aggregation, it is basically an aggregator model. In India, as you can see, we have so many tiers of financial structure for rural assistance, but it does not work properly. So in India, you have everything, but you have to just bring them in a different slot so that they can become a very utilitarian system for these farmers. And that is what we have tried to do. So we are trying to aggregate all those financial institutions and organizations, be it a rural bank, be it credit institutions, or even what do you call it? There are so many cooperative banks and all that. So all they can be on the system as one of the aggregators, and they can play their part. Government also issues stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Insurance is also there for farmers, and you can invest in that, on which you get tax benefits. So we are again going to utilize all those things for capital utilization and capital replenishment. because when you are using these things and the agriculture income to these investment instruments, what happens? Money goes back to government. So what government loses money by way of waiving of loans to farmers, that can be replenished. So you have to just make a very, I should say, organized system in which every institution which is participating in it must be effective and provide a fruit to the effort that they are doing. In capital replenishment, what we are doing, we are trying to create a sinking fund for the farmers so that in case of any problem, any failure, like if we are giving the loan to farmers, right now it is for 1 year, we are contemplated for 3 years. So 3 years or 5 years. Now you have 5-year bonds here, so you can use that. So with that 5-year bond, what happens? Farmer will not be under pressure to repay the loan, even if the crop fails, because again, there is insurance, there is government subsidy. So you can utilize 50% of that subsidy insurance to trigger the their agri practices for the next season, and 50% can go towards the sinking fund to take care of the repayment. Because whosoever has invested in these funds and invested investment instruments, even they have to get back their money. If they will not get back their money, then they are not going to be participants here. So we have to look to all these people and make them comfortable with our activities. So that is how we have tried to create the replenishment pool. And in the marketplace, we have created 5 types of market for each and every commodity. So you have the local market, you have district market, national market, and then international market. And the last one, we have also created a barter system wherein they can do, they can barter anything for anything. It is virtually like that. Even if they want to go to have a sightseeing in, say, Jammu Kashmir, they can barter that trip also, holiday trip. So it is like that. Why? Because you have to give them this idea that now the whole world is open to them. It is not a closed model of economy and not a closed model of society. So that is why barter opens and breaks all the barrier which farmers and agricultural communities have been having till now, as well as it has its own economic benefit also, because farmers know very well barter system because they have been doing it traditionally. So traditional things, if you give it a modern flavor, it will always be a very, very lucrative thing for them. And different markets, what we have tried to do, we have for every product, like say onion. So onion, if you see where, what is the price, which are the areas where it is deficient, accordingly the price mechanism is there. So you can then decide where we should go and where we should not go. And accordingly, we have the logistic platform also connected to the platform. So you can choose that, okay, it has to go to, say, place ABC. Now, for ABC, which are the carriers which are going there? And accordingly, you can choose whichever has the least or say the lowest fare. You can adopt that and you can accept that. So all this data we have integrated to our application and it is made available to farmers. And we are just testing how it is going to change their financial system and structure. And right now it is in one of the tribal areas in Jharkhand, as I said. So the whole agenda was that capital is not scarce, but scattered, and we have to aggregate it. A singular app must be there which can take care of all these facilities, because multiple apps distract people also. That, okay, from here, I have now onboarded here, I have taken this service, and now for loan, I should go to some other app. No. If you need to have a loan facility, even that small scale, this micro loan facility is provided there, you can take it. And that's why we are creating a full, like for onboarding, it is a very short thing that we just use the Aadhaar as identity card or any other thing, whatever they want to give, which is government, like voters ID card. And then we try to expand all that data so that whosoever is onboarded, their full information is available, because we cannot fully rely on our data, which is available right now. So we have to even create a pure data stream so that we can utilize it properly. So that is why we are creating all their resources on that platform itself. And if they have to take a loan, they don't have to further do backward forward for this information, that information. Everything is there. So they just apply for the loan and it is made available because we have all the possible data. So, and aggregated farmer loans will be used to issue, like as I explained to you, for 3 years or 5 years, whichever it is available, convenient. And HNIs, corporates, and agricultural elites and NGOs can be participating in that. And rural bonds are always available with Government of India. So it is nothing that we are bringing anything from sky or from out of blues. It is very much a legal system. So because if you have to work in India or any country, you have to follow the local regulations and the legalities. So we have tried to make it very, very friendly with the regulatory mechanism of India, so that we don't like digress any of the things. And that's why, since it is for 3 years or 5 years, a longer loan period, the interest on loan, like in bond, the interest you are getting 6%, 7% fixed. So what happens here, that when 7% you are charging interest for bonds, you can give the loan for 9% or 10%. Whereas nowadays, what is happening, micro loans, you are getting for 20%, 28%. And that's why Reserve Bank of India had to intervene. So you have to change all these agri practices and agri nomenclatures to create a new economic environment for agriculturists and farming sector. And all this will result in the reduction of pressure on farmers, and no one is going to commit suicide, but their financial situation is definitely going to improve like anything. So this is in expanded form, capital aggregation, that how do we create this? So there are deposits, also fixed deposits, because I've already talked of neo-banking. We have that. We are already catering to migrant communities. So that neobank itself will become the, I should say, the harbinger of all these capital aggregation practices. Because you can easily, with API integration, you can easily connect to different entities and try to get the benefit to your application. So that is what we are trying to do here. In capital utilization and lending, as I have already said, that different entities are there. So we are connected to them. We have created a dashboard for the aggregators, that the lending opportunity is available and any of the aggregators can participate in it. And they can even buy and sell those loans like a digital asset to each other, so that no one is forced to continue with any lending asset for 3 years or 5 years, because people want to shuffle their portfolio, so they can do that also. So this is how the whole rural smart crop economy, or based on crop loan, it is going to work. So credit societies, EST Lend is our application, which is integrated to EST Agrex, and that is the lending management system through which we are creating the digital assets. We have already created the concept of rural exchange, and that is why we talk of e-invest and all that, that how that investment will be churned out. And sinking fund, insurance. So all these things are very like easily integrated to our super app, which is called EST Agrex, and it is on Google Store also. This is the discussion on the marketplace, which I explained just now, that how we are trying to connect to different buyers. It may be local buyer, it may be buyer at a distance, and how you have different carriers connected to it. Even railways are connected to our application. So if anything has to be shifted by railways, you can use that. We are also, as a matter of fact, it is very, very ambitious project, and I am very, I should say, passionate about it. So I've also created different, one of my, I would say, friends and activists with me. He has tried to create different container services, which can take right from field to port. We don't have to take it, because all those value added cleaning, packing, all those things are being done at the center, at the field level itself. And then it is put in the container service and sent to the port, right from farm to port. So those type of concepts are also built in to facilitate marketing, because more marketing will create more wealth for the farming community and better channelization of the marketing. So this is how the integrated supply chain management is there. And you can see with the war in Ukraine, how the world food chain is disturbed. Because when you have all these interconnected stations, suppliers, and interconnected entities, suppliers, traders, manufacturers, warehouse people, logistic providers, all these are connected to them. So if there is any problem with one, the whole system will crash, and it will have to, you have to create a bypass mechanism. Then it disturbs. It is not that it is, if it crashes, it is finished forever. No, you will have to create the bypass model. So when you are creating the bypass, it takes time, and of course it disturbs the usual flow of the supply chain management system. So this is what happens when world is integrated as one unit and one entity. Everyone must be participating in that, in place of disturbing or blocking that whole flow. This is what I talked of e-Rural 19, empowering rural in India. So you are talking of decentralization. You are talking of disruption. How this disruption and decentralization, all these things will come. Of course, decentralization is coming through your technology, but disruption is also coming through your technology, but it should also come through ideas. So the whole concept of financial freedom of rural India and agricultural sector is very, very important. So ideation of thought or germinating that idea in these agricultural fields is equally important as your technology. So in e-Rural 19, we have tried to create that, and it is an investment ecosystem with AI-based facility, and it tries to create more wealth from the deposit and the savings of these agriculturists. And now, when we talk of more wealth, it is not nothing like gambling or anything. It is again investment in those government schemes itself. So what happens, government is giving you money out of their subsidies and all that, which is coming to farmers. So when farmers are creating wealth, they are making investment in government schemes. So what happens? It becomes a circular flow of wealth and circular flow of funds from government to farmers to government. So this is the whole concept, because now every economy is circular economy. You don't want to waste anything. Everything is utilized. So that is the whole concept which we have tried to put in here. And you can see in this multi-asset class investment platform, these things are already available with you. So you have to just integrate the same thing, that's all, and give it a different focus. And then all your system is working. And if this is, you don't tax your rich farmers, but they can definitely invest here. So this money will again go back to government. It will contribute to national economy. And that is the whole focus, that rural economy should be restructured and redone in such a manner that they can create their own class, they can contribute to national economy. Till now, they have been feeding. They are a small part in the national economy. But with this, they can be a very big part also in the national economy and standing on their own legs, not depending on their cousin of industrial urban economy. So with all this focus that we are trying to create, it of course it benefits all the farmers. It benefits all the customers also, because farmers are updated with all the products, all the new agricultural practices. They also know about all the different marketing partners, the reliability of the product, which areas require what, which area is having what sort of problem. In one of our features in our EST Agrex, we have, it is not full-fledged rural verse, but something like that, which is mix of your Facebook, rural verse, and Twitter, and WhatsApp, in which all farmers can interact with each other and share each and everything with. So if there is a locust attack in one area of India, those farmers can share all that, okay, these locusts have destroyed our crop, they may go this side. So people are in advance informed about it, because word to mouth information is also very, very effective. And nowadays, with all this decentralization and disruption, P2P model is the best model that we think is there. So with P2P, when farmers are interacting with each other, it will be very effective way of dissemination of knowledge, ideas, and situations. And that will go to enrich the infrastructure of the whole system. And accordingly, all this process is going to benefit the government as well. So in totality, the whole EST Agrex ecosystem, the mesh that I have been talking of, it looks like this. And in this, what is happening, that rural, rural exchange concept, of course, it is not done as yet. We have just created all the model. A government permission is still to be there. With the strike and that farmer agitation, I think those things have been blocked down. So even we have shut down all this nuances as of now, so that we don't rake up the bad elements and bad situations. But this is how it is going to work. And for rural artisans, we are trying to create the connect with overseas buyers and overseas MSMEs, so that they can also try to contribute to rural economy, because every economy has to have capital from both the sides. And when there is so much of technology, even rural artisans are going to be benefited by that technology. So why not promote them also? So with local resources, we can create all those opportunities. So we are working on all those things, but these are not one day things, or say 1 year things. It is going to be a long effort. But once we start moving in these in this manner, of course, we will have a victory someday for sure. And it will be a very, very concrete victory. Now, we have been seeing that all these international organizations, they keep on talking of stakeholder capitalism and all that. Now, when we talk of stakeholder capitalism, what does it mean? That everyone is participating in that capitalism, that process of creating capital. Okay, but how can you create, all of a sudden become the creator of that or contributor to that capitalism? So for that, what you have to do, every rural area has to be an independent economic unit, independent capitalist cluster, which is integrated and interacting with different clusters. And that creates the whole island of a rural economy. And then when you have created savings in hands of farmers with new technology, with agriculture 4.0, and with new forms of money monetization and money circulation and money channelization, what happens? You are creating individual capitalism. When there is individual capitalism, then only it can go and create stakeholder capitalism and become an entity to it. So this is how the 4 planks of capital aggregation, capital utilization, capital replenishment, and marketplace try to create individual capitalism, which can then further grow and become the important component of stakeholder capitalism. And but what we see that there are different trends in different parts of the country itself. There are different international, I should say, forces also which are put on us, like ESG, carbon credit. So all these are external forces which are put to rural structure and rural agriculturists from top. But you cannot parachute all these things. So when you are trying to create the fully industrial agriculture and technological agriculture, you have to add these components of ESG, the component of carbon-free technology, and the vision should be progress, people, and planet, as government keeps on saying. So this is how the sustainable development goal of United Nations can be taken care of, and we can end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture as per SDG 2. So we in ESG platform, we have tried to use our 4 verticals to contribute to this agenda, and we are trying our best to create a new rural infrastructure and rural economy, which can be a real contributor to the whole system, national system. Thank you very much. If you have any question, we still have 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It was indeed a very insightful talk, and we have some questions from the participants. So, as the participants are joining from various countries, so participants are asking that in which countries global EST Global is working right now.
Okay, EST Agrex is working right now in one of the tribal areas in Jharkhand, and we have just launched it in Chile and in Ghana. And our EST Agrex platform is, of course, it is a super app, and it has the capability of transforming to match requirements of any country. So it is virtually white label solution, you can say, and you can add all the compliance models to it as per the requirement of the country. So we have one Southeast Asian country which is in the final stage of the agreement, and once we sign it, we'll announce the name also. So we are also going there. So at least 4 countries we are there.
Okay, sir. Sir, most of the participants are asking like if EST Global is providing any kind of internships to agriculture students, because many students are joining right now.
Yeah, so that has been my main motive and agenda in EST Fab, which is FinTech and Blockchain Association. So intfab.com, if you go and see, everything is there. And we are connected to different universities and colleges. And right now we have about 200,000 students under us. And we try to provide them corporate internship in different, whatever field is there. If they want banking, agri-tech, like blockchain and all, so they can definitely in their summer vacation on all that, when they get a summer internship, they can do it. Right, last couple of months back, there were 30 students who had done it from Amity and Punjab, Chandigarh group of colleges, and Chandigarh University, all those people. So we are always open. Those who want to work with us, they are always welcome. And even if they don't want to work with us, if they want to connect for any information or any clarification, they can always write to me directly, because I don't believe in appointment system. So they can approach me directly and they can work it out. But EST Fab, keep checking it, Fab. And we also announce employment opportunities. Whenever there is vacancy, we announce it. Right now, we have vacancy in our banking. If anyone is interested, most welcome.
Thank you, sir. It was so nice of you to tell the participants about the placements and internship opportunities.
No, because see,
Sir,
just giving out knowledge does not help you. Knowledge has to move to the logical conclusion. So if you are getting knowledge, earning knowledge, it has to be utilized, tested, and then you have to have a final mooring in your life. So that's how we have tried to keep the whole continuity in that system. And all students, we have created centers of excellence in those universities as well. And everything is pro bono activity. We don't charge anything from any student. So that's okay for them to come to us.
Yeah, that's great, sir. Sir, another question which I have, like most of our participants, they just want to go in agribusiness or agripreneurship. So their question is like, you are a financial expert, so they just want to know that what is the best option for investment, like in which the risk is minimum for the budding entrepreneurs.
Okay, this is a very difficult question because every country has different nuances. And see, what has been happening earlier, if you see the global economic situation, people came out with cryptos, then there was ICOs, then IEOs, then of course different projects, and they have been getting a lot of money, huge money. Even in agriculture, huge amount of money has been coming in. But what is happening after 1 year, 2 years, people are shutting their doors. Even after having 30 million, 40 million, 50 million like investments from different parties. So you don't know what is the like what is here in those people and what is their basic intention. If they want to have, they want to make money for themselves, then that is a different thing. At least I'm very straightforward in that, because I'm my whole platform is bootstrapped. I have not taken a single penny from anyone, so my conscience is clear that way. But again, it is very difficult to say with whom one should go, because after 1 year, 2 years, they are shutting down their doors, which no one had expected. So I think you should go by interact with people, take their interview, who are going to invest on your behalf, or they are going to be the recipient of your investment amount. Interview them, talk to them, be with them for some time, try to know them, their mind, because if there is something in your mind, by chance, or you will slip and you will speak it out. So at least you will know that there is some knot inside. So that we can do.
Yes, sir. So right now, sir, we have only these questions. In case if we get any other question, we will mail that to you to get the answers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such an insightful talk. And I'm very sure that our participant must have got the best knowledge from you.
No, thank you very much. And thank you, Just Agriculture, for inviting me again. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, sir. On the behalf of Just Agriculture, I just want to thank you. Okay, so in the end, I just want to thank all the worthy speakers of today's session and all the participants for their patient listening. So we all will join tomorrow for more informative talks. And for now, I just want to wish you all a great evening. So thank you all.